Once again, the best dressed man in MPW. Sir, how are you?
Keep him in line.
I will, sir, yes.
Okay, right.
You heard.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to introduce the Executive Director of MPW, Randall Craig.
Oh, one of your favorite people.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, the man, Mr. Craig.
Randall Craig, the Executive Director.
And an immaculate dresser, just like yours truly.
Well, here he comes. I don't know why he's here, but...
All right. I got some serious stuff to talk about, so let's get going in the parade and all that stuff.
Okay.
I was hired by MPW to be the Executive Director, to bring in people to make this show better.
True.
2 shows ago, if you guys were here, we brought in from ECW, excuse me.
Little lip up there.
And what happened with Little Greedo when he wrestled big Hardcore Red? Hardcore had to bring 2 goons out and cheat him out of the title.
That's true.
So I get a phone call from Chris Chetty. What did we do last show? We bring Chris Chetty out. What happens? He brings his goons out again, and he screws Chris Chetty out of the heavyweight title.
That happened too?
We were all here.
Hey,
So I gotta come
let the
up
man
with
speak,
some
Larry.
Red. So Cincinnati Red, if you can, please, come on out and let's talk a little bit.
Mr. Craig's calling out the MPW World Heavyweight Champion, Big Hardcore, Cincinnati Red.
Cincinnati Red is our champion, and here he comes. Oh, along with Scrap Iron Adam Pearce and Boston Black.
And Scrap Iron telling the fans that they're #1.
He always has a way of endearing himself to the fans, Adam Pearce does. And there's Big Boston Black.
Personal protection extraordinaire.
He certainly is. But look at Pearce. He's
Getting
picking
into
on
it with the photographer there.
That's Mike Lano. Yeah, that's Mike Lano, and he's, well...
All right, once again, Mr. Hardcore Cincinnati Red has to bring his boots out again for an interview. Okay. Okay, head of security and
Also, that's his position, head of security. Now
That's
we
the
know.
official position is head of security.
Mr. Cincinnati Red Hardcore of Southern California, why do you need these guys to keep that belt? Look, I don't know what you're talking about, but if you're trying to start something with me...
Oh, wait a minute. Wow. Attacking the executive director there.
What's Pearce doing?
Oh, wait a minute. They're attacking Randall Craig. Oh, no. No.
Somebody needs to come in here and do something
And
about
the
this.
commissioner's out here.
Get off the man right now!
Yes, please.
Get back away from this guy. You know, you step back.
Well,
You know, Scrap Iron Adam Pearce has no regard for authority.
he doesn't.
I sat here and watched you bully. You cowards. Come out here in groups, okay? Yeah, all right? You know what? You know what?
Well, Randall Craig is out.
I think it ends right here tonight. Okay? Pierce, you want some opposition? You want a good opponent?
Yeah, he doesn't have an opponent tonight.
What's he doing here, Larry?
I don't know what Pearce is doing here.
You want to see it? This guy's been gone for a while, Pierce, but he's back. He's back, Pierce. He's back from the beyond. Man,
Who's he talking about?
Pierce's opponent.
Who can it be, Larry?
I don't know.
Hey, that music sounds kind of familiar.
Wait a minute. That's the music of Godsmack.
It can't be, Larry.
No, you
It
got
can't be who I think it is. Oh my
Wait
God!
a minute.
Oh my, it's the Messiah!
Well,
From XPW!
Man, that's right. The Messiah.
What is he doing here, brother?
I don't know what he's doing here. I don't even think he's signed to wrestle here. I don't know what's going on. Wow. I don't even even think his name is the Messiah anymore, but wait a minute. He and
Well, he's
Pierce
going
are
right at
going
him with Pierce.
Wow.
Hey, Larry, we got an impromptu match right here, brother.
We got... The artist formerly known as the Messiah against Scrap Iron Adam Pierce. Now, did you see him in the backstage? I didn't see him.
Larry, I've been here since about 3 o'clock this afternoon, and I did not see that man backstage.
I didn't either. Adam Pierce with the leapfrog. Oh, look at those punches. They don't call him the Scrap Iron for nothing. Another leapfrog. And, oh, what a clothesline. I think I saw a tooth flying there. Oh, wait a minute. Red and black are attacking the artist formerly known as the Messiah.
Red with some serious shots to the midsection there.
But, oh, there's that big 450-pound black. But or we can't call him the Messiah. I mean, I don't know what to call him. What do you want to call him? The artist?
Well, I tell you what, I call him getting his ass whooped right now.
Yep.
Oh,
Here comes
Scrap
Adam.
Iron takes his... Oh, he took the straps down.
He's going to take it to Memphis, 1985. Oh, my God. But only a 2 count. I think Adam knows how to count, Pierce.
I wouldn't be too sure about that one.
Oh, did you hear that? And
Oh, a chop, and then the Three Stooges poke right there. Oh, what a drop kick.
Adam Pierce flies high for a man his size. He's about 6'2", 6'3", 2. He had his foot on the ropes, and he still couldn't pin him.
I think he was just trying to shine his shoe there, brother.
Oh, okay. Pierce now. But the artist formerly known as the Messiah coming back with punches of his own. Oh, did you see that spine buster? Oh, my God. Pierce is getting frustrated. This is the most frustrated I've ever seen him.
He's calling for something big here, Larry.
I don't know what he's going to go for. But, oh, took too much time, Adam Pierce. This really isn't his game to go up in the air. Oh, wait a minute.
What's this? This looks like a razor's edge.
I think it is. Holding him up in a crucifix position. Oh, my God! Crucifix power bomb. But Red, I think that would have been 3, but I don't know. Wait a minute, Pierce now. Oh! Look at the power of Pierce. But only a 2 count. Wait a minute, he's using his straps.
He's just wiping the sweat off of the artist's chin there, brother.
Oh. What did he call Adam?
He used a 3-letter metaphor there, brother.
Yeah.
And I don't mean boy.
Right.
Old school. Oh, the pile driver.
The pile driver. Took it back to Memphis again with that pile driver.
Adam Pierce going back up to the top there, Larry.
But he's taking too much time.
This could be a mistake.
Yeah, I think it might very well be. Oh, he missed the senton. The Messiah now. He's got the count of 5.
Raining the rights in there, brother. He's going up to the top himself. What's he gonna do?
Here? Oh, frog splash! But only a 2 count. I mean, this is still a shock to me. The artist formerly known as the Messiah, straight from the other organization across town.
Go ahead and say it. Go ahead and say it, Larry. He's from XPW.
XPW,
Go
okay.
ahead and say it.
I didn't think I was legally allowed to say it, but I'll say it anyway. Oh, wait a minute. Airplane spin. Oh, wait a minute.
Red breaks it up with the belt.
And that's a disqualification. Red knew better than that.
Oh, leg drop with the belt.
Oh, wait a minute. They're dropping elbow after elbow.
Here comes
Wait,
Tech Nine. Wait, it's Tech
What's he
Nine.
doing here? I didn't see him in the back either. I know he wants a title very badly, but he's taking on both men. Tech Nine and the artist formerly known as the Messiah.
Cleaning house here. Up. They just bought.
Wait a minute. I think they just discovered each other now. I don't think there's any love lost between them either.
Adam Moran has disqualified Scott Bauer and Adam Pearce. Therefore, the winner of the match, well, you know who he is.
Yes, we do.
Why won't they say his name, Larry?
I don't think we want to get sued, do we? Well, nonetheless, your winner by disqualification is the man formerly known as the Messiah.
With the assist from Tech Nine.
Oh, that's true. But Red's not over. The trio is not over yet. They're still here.
I guess I just say him back where he came from.
Okay, we're here at the Original Alternative Wrestling Shop offices with the CZW champion and NWA Florida King of the Deathmatch champion, the Messiah. And we want to have an interview here with the Messiah to get all the scoop on his career and his life in the wrestling business. So first off, were you a wrestling fan growing up?
Yeah, of course. I mean, I think in order to be in this business, you have to be a fan. You can't, be a Goldberg and and just fall ass backwards into the business like he did. It's like, growing up watching it. That's what I loved watching. That's what I loved doing. And my favorites were Bret Hart, Mr. Perfect, Shawn Michaels. I was, of course, when I was a kid, a big Hogan fan and all that stuff. So yeah, definitely growing up. I mean, that's. I wasn't into baseball or football, and it was always about wrestling.
Okay. How did you get started in the wrestling business?
Pretty much right out of high school when I was 18, I went to wrestling school. It's actually a funny story. It's just there used to be I think out here was the Wrestling Cable Network or something like that, and Dynamite D, he hosted it. And every Friday night, when I was like, I think I had to have been like maybe 15 or, no, I wasn't even that, maybe 16 or, 15 or 16. And I would listen to it, and D's on there and everything, and he's talking, and he kept on plugging this place called Slammers Wrestling Federations or Slammers Wrestling Gym, and made a deal with my dad. I asked my dad if I could go see it, and he pretty much said, okay, well, if you do well on your report card, I'll take you there. And I said, okay, and sure enough, I did well, and he took me there, and as soon as I walked in there, I mean, I was in love. They had like pictures of wrestlers all over the walls and everything,
Mm-hmm.
wrestling magazines all over the table, and it was the best thing ever. And I don't think the guy who ran it, Vern Langdon, he wasn't there at the time, but this guy named Movie Star Mike was there.
Is that who trained you?
No, the guy who trained me was actually Hombre de Oro or Carlito Montana in XPW.
Oh, okay.
But I showed up there with my dad and this guy Movie Star Mike and I believe it was Jeff Lindbergh, like a really even skinnier, just like 16-year-old. I mean, Jeff was like the main guy in SWF, and it's like when I was there, that's when he first started. When I got to see him, and they put on a little match for me and my dad, and I thought it was the greatest thing in the world. But of course, the catch was you had to be 18 in order to train there. And sure enough, when I turned 18, I went to wrestling school. In fact, it was right around the time where the WWF or the WWE was pushing Ultimate Warriors Wrestling School. And that's the first time I ever heard about a wrestling school besides Slammers. And I actually sent like a letter and everything, and they sent me something. I think it was like $7 or something like that for an info packet. And he sent it back, and just pretty much they said that what was it? That it would cost $300 to go to a no BS seminar by the Ultimate Warrior. And basically, you didn't get the $300 back, but you had to go fly your ass out to Arizona to to just hear the Ultimate Warrior speak on shit and pay him $300 to do it. But that wasn't guaranteeing that you were going to be in the school or anything like that. And I told my dad. My dad actually was one of the few times that he's like, if you want to go, go. And he's like, I'll pay for it and everything. I'm like, no, I don't want to go out there for $300. No, it's not worth it. And then he brought up, what about Slammers? And that's when I got in contact with Vern, and that's pretty much where it all happened from there.
Well, looking back now, as far as the work of the Ultimate Warrior, aren't you glad you didn't go?
Oh, definitely. My dad, it was funny because my dad, he traveled a lot. He always went to Arizona, and he would go and check out the school. He's like, let me just go down there and see what it is. He's like, I'm familiar with where this is. He'd go down there and he'd call and go, there's no one in this place. There's no one here. He's like, I saw a lady walking around, but that was it. There's no one here whatsoever.
Okay, so what are your thoughts on the first original guys that helped you train?
Awesome. I mean, the way I was taught at Slammers was they didn't let me in that the business was a work. They did not let me in. In fact, when I originally got in contact with Vern Langdon, he said, hey, we're doing shows in Bakersfield every Thursday night, Strong Bus Stadium. Why don't you come down, check it out to see what you're going to get yourself into. And I said, okay. And then, I told my dad, and my dad and I went down to Bakersfield. And we watched it. And that show, the champ at the time, El Toro, no, it wasn't the champ at the time, but one of the wrestlers named El Toro Bravo was wrestling Vern. And Vern just cold cocked him like, boom, and fucking knocked out like his tooth right there in front of me. And my dad just looked at me with like, you sure this is what you want to do? And I thought it was the greatest thing in the world. I was like, this is fucking awesome. And I met up with Vern after, and he's like, okay, what do you think? And it was awesome. I definitely want to be part of this. And he said, well, here, come down to the school on Sunday, and we'll see what you made of. I'm like, all right, and that was pretty much it. I mean, Vern didn't really have that much in doing as far as training me goes. He's the guy that kind of felt you out, But
so was he the owner?
Yeah, he was the owner. But I remember that first training session, like we locked up and I grappled with him for like 2 hours, and then at the end of it, it was like he goes, okay, right now I'm going to teach you how to chop. I'm like, okay. And he's like, all right, this is how you do it. And he just hauled out, and he had these big meat hands. These things were fucking huge. And he just went off and chopped me. And I thought I had like bronchitis or something like that, because it just, my lungs, I couldn't even breathe, and he's like, chopped me back. And then we just went back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and I did not once let up. And then after it, he goes, okay, you can be part of this if you want. And basically their whole thing was, we don't want any pussies, we really don't, And his whole thing also, and he was very upfront with me when he said that, because at the time it was $25 a week. None of this $2,000 down crap. Because if that had happened to me, there's no way I ever would have went to wrestling school. There's no way. $25 a week for me back then was just like, oh, jeez, God, And he pretty much said, he's like, just to let you know, this isn't something that you're going to learn like in 3 months. He's like, we have a 2-year course here, and we're not here to take your money because all of us have separate jobs as it is. We do this because we love to do it. And I did, I grappled with Vern, and then went into the class, and the main instructor there was Hombre de Oro, or Carlito Montana, and pretty much he just beat the crap out of you. Because he was all about being stiff and, kicking for real and all that stuff. And before I was actually taught wrestling moves, I was made to grapple. So I had to grapple and everything, so I got my mind working. It's just one of those things like, as far as collegiate wrestling goes, I think it's the greatest sport in the world, because not only are you thinking fast on your toes, but it's really physical, and you got to go at it, And they taught me how to, basically after that I did the courses and everything. Dynamite D didn't, even though he was like the main instructor there at the time, that's when he was going out the door.
Oh, okay.
And so it was pretty much Carlos and a guy named Ed Farah.
Now when Slammers put out all their line at home videos, and they put out the best of like collegiate wrestling or how to, was that you on the tape, or?
No.
That was another Mike.
That's where my gimmick came from.
Okay.
That's where, who's that? That was me and Carlos called him a little bitch all the time, because there's one tape or something where they're doing collegiate wrestling, and the guy gets him in a move, and he just hears, and he's like, that's your brother, dude. And I'm like, no, it's not. But basically that's where my gimmick came from, because that guy's name was Mark Earhart, and then my gimmick, I was wrestling one day, and then D was there, and then Vern goes and looks at D, and he goes, Mike Earhart. And D looks at me and looks at Vern and goes, yeah. And my gimmick was I was his little brother. even though I never met the guy once ever. But that's where I got the name from.
All right. Let's see. Well, we covered a couple questions there on that. So, let's see.
What best describes your gimmick?
I was the all-American boy. Vern always said I'd never be a heel. There's no way I could ever be a heel because I had too much of a baby face. He's like, you can't be a heel. You can't. And sure enough, I'd go out there and look all fucking, shit grin and all this stuff, and that basically it was no gimmick. It was just me going out there, and the one thing that in Slammers it was all about. It was supposed to be old school. Like we weren't allowed in the ring with tennis shoes. You're only allowed either barefoot or wrestling boots. Not even the Asics. You weren't even allowed to wear that, and you had to wear tights. You couldn't wear Adidas pants or anything like that. And that's what you wore. You wore the tights and everything, and
all traditional.
Yeah, it was all traditional. In fact, you had to stick to your times of what you were given as far as what you wrestled and everything. You couldn't do too many things too flashy, or else you get an ass chewing.
Yeah.
So I mean, it was definitely the whole wearing the tights thing. It was a case of I hated wearing tights. But I hated it. It's horrible. And but it's a case of it's one of these things where you get over your fear of looking that way, and you just go out there and let your work speak for itself, rather than going out there with this gnarly entrance and all this stuff, because that's what gets you over.
Yeah.
You just went out there and it was your work that friggin' got you over.
So at this time when you were training, what were some of the other indie stars you were training with?
At the time when I first started there was Pete Malloy, aka White Trash Johnny Webb. He was there. Trying to think. Homeless Jimmy. He was there. He was Jimmy James. And he had like short hair and everything. It was the funniest thing. He did a completely 180 on with the gimmicks. And then who else? Locally out here, California, there was like Mace. Dave. He was there. Tyrone Tiny Little wrestles. That's what he wrestled as in Slammers, but in XPW he wrestled as Sybil. I think right now he wrestles as Uncle Jess Hansen or Uncle Jess. Big Bear or Big Bear Calhoun, just a big, powerful guy who does more stuff up north. Who else? I'm trying to think.
Damien Steele?
I wasn't there when Damien Steele was there.
He came in after?
No, he was there before me.
Oh. Okay.
Like I think he was there as Buddy West. The Buddy West or something like that.
And then he became Nick Beat.
Yeah, Nick Beat, and then Damien, the real deal Damien Still. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, he wasn't there. A lot of people think I trained with Chaos and Supreme, and I didn't. I didn't train with them at all. I didn't meet them until I started doing indies. But as far as I think like Webb and Jimmy were pretty much like Felony, who was a ref for XPW. He wrestled there as El Spirito, and I forgot the other gimmick he did. But that was actually my first wrestling match ever. Was against Felony as El Spirito. He was under a mask and everything, and that's pretty much. I mean, Ed Ferraro was there. He helped train me a lot. He did things.
Well, what's your feelings on Ed Ferraro?
I love Ed. I think he's the greatest thing in the world. I mean, it was weird because this is one of the great things about the wrestling business is the fact that you could have a room full of guys that look like they would never in a million years hang out with each other. You could have a black guy over here, you could have a white guy, a fat guy, a skinny guy, a guy all pierced up, a guy who goes to church over here. But the one common thing you have is that they all love wrestling, and that's what makes you friends. And that's when you looked at all of us, you're just like, what the fuck are you hanging out with this guy for?
Yeah.
Ed at the time had long bleach blonde hair because he was doing a gimmick called Brutal for Bruce Bodine. And he came out like in pink tights and all this stuff. It was the greatest thing in the world because dude, he'd get that crowd. If regardless if there was 5 people or 50, he was just like, oh fuck you. I mean, he got.
So he was a total heel.
Oh, he was the biggest heel I ever saw. Like I said before, like I mentioned before, they didn't wise me up on gimmicks or that it was a work. And I remember Ed actually at the time he had to leave because he actually accepted a job because he was a writer, and he actually got a great job writing. I forgot what it was for, but you couldn't wrestle anymore, and so they came up with an angle. And him and Hombre or Carlos had the biggest feud going on in SWF. So they basically did a loser leaves Bakersfield, loser leaves Slammers match, and Carlos won, and so Beautiful Bruce was gone, and I'd go to the shows, but I never went backstage. I never went backstage, you know, while I was training,
Hmm.
and or while they weren't letting me, they were wising me up on everything, and I went to class like the next Sunday, and they're talking about stuff, and in the match, Bruce went through a table, and you know, Ed said something to or Vern said something to D. He goes, yeah, Ed offered to pay for the table. And they're just like, oh, that's good. And we're leaving. I'm like, so what is Ed going to do? And Vern's like, who gives a shit what he does? He's a cocksucker. I'm like, what? He's like, dude, I'm glad he's out of here. He was totally working me.
Wow.
And then finally they let me in. Like, Carlos sat me down. He goes, okay, I'm going to let you in on something. I'm like, what? It's a work. No, it's not. You really hit me. Yeah, I know I really hit you, but it's a work. I'm like, okay. And that's how I got, they wised me up with that. And, you know, Vern, or Ed ended up coming back, and, you know, he was the guy, like, Carlos and him were so much older than me. I mean, I was barely 20 or 19, and they took me under their wing and just showed me everything. There was many a night where I'd go there with Carlos at night, and we just beat the crap out of each other. I remember we did one whole, me, Carlos, and El Toro Bravo, we did one whole class, it was just us three, on suplexes. And we were just suplexing each other back and forth, boom, 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 all variations of everything that you can think of. And after that, all three of us were just on the mat, just lying there. I've never been so sore in my life. But it was a great experience that I'll never forget. I mean, those were the guys who toughened me up, and, you know, if they had taken it easy on me and been like, you know, this is how you really throw a punch. You don't really hit the, it's like, you know, they fucking, you know, they saw something in me and they took me under their wing, and you know, basically it was tough love. They just beat the crap out of me and said, this is how you do it right. And, you know, that's, you know, if it wasn't for them, I definitely want to be here.
Yeah, personally, I think that's the way to go too, because a lot of these guys getting in the business lately, they just don't pay their dues at all.
Yeah, I mean, it's you know, I mean, there was no Tough Enough back when I started. So, I mean, I had to take down the ring and all that stuff, and, you know, basically I had to be bitch boy during class where everybody's like, the new students would come in, and it's like, all right, Billy, okay, give him a suplex. Okay, boom. All right, now do it to him. So you know, you get 8 guys and they're all giving me suplexes. Oh, I fucked up. You know, they land me, I drop on my head or something like that, and it just, I was the guy that was, you know, the dummy that I get thrown around all the time. You know, but that's, you know, that's I personally believe it's better to learn stiff and get the stiff, you know, get stiff and everything, and then you can learn to be light if you need to be, rather than being taught light and then trying to be stiff.
Yeah, then you got a locker room full of pussies that bitch and moan and complain about everything.
Yeah, I mean, eventually what happened at Slammers was a lot of the guys there, you either, there's 2 ways you left Slammers. Either you just quit because it was too stiff. The majority of guys that I was around when it happened, they quit. It was just too stiff. They just couldn't handle it. Or they were asked to leave. There was, I think D, and it wasn't fair to D, D was kind of like asked to leave. And D was the guy who pretty much like helped, you know, he was like the main guy there. And he was asked to leave by Vern, which you know, in retrospect, you know, it sucked. He shouldn't have done that.
Do you know any reasons for that?
I really don't. It was just a case of like, D had stuff going on, man. And D admitted to you back then he was a dick. You know, he had a chip on his shoulder and everything. You know, he thought his shit don't stink. I mean, the first time I ever met Dynamite D, Vern's like, hey, this is you know, Billy D. D goes, hey, how's it going? Hey, how's it going, Billy? D, world's greatest wrestler. That's how he introduced himself to me. You know, back then he thought his shit don't stink, and he, you know, he'll tell you that he was a dick. He was just the biggest dick. He thought he was gonna, you know, he was gonna be the best thing ever. You know, and he changed a lot. I mean, he's one of the nicest guys in the world. But you know, he was asked to leave the other. What was it? There was this one guy. I can't remember his name, but pretty much we were doing. He started there before I did, and we were doing something as simple as bear hugs. We're just like bear hug, you know, get under his chest and everything. You know, in order to get out of it, you know, clap your ears like this, you know, around his head.
Yeah.
The guy really fucking clapped the bear's ears. He went whack, and it's just like, oh, I'm sorry. And Vern's like, all right, okay, yeah, fine. And then we're going in, we're doing stuff. Try to do something as simple as a suplex, and he fucks it up. And Vern's like, okay, you've been taught this. Why? What's going on? Something's not clicking in your brain. I don't know. Vern's like, you know something? If you don't got it now, you're never gonna get it. So you know something? Get your shit, get out of here. You know, and that was it. He was just asked to leave. You know, so it was, you know, it was definitely. You definitely didn't go in there expecting just to, you know, glitz and glamour but if you did, you know, you get a fucking hard lesson.
Get the wake up call.
Pretty much.
Now, getting back to Ed, what do you think of his work with the WWF, WCW, and now NWA TNA?
It's weird. When he left Slammers, Carlos was the one who told me that he left Slammers, and then that he got the call from that he had, you know, he had a meeting with Vince, and Vince said, hey, you know, you want to right for me. Um, yeah, that was great that he took it. I mean, I was like, dude, that sucks. He's leaving. But at the same time, in the back of your head, you're like, oh, mate, I got an end now. I got an end to the WWE. You know?
Got a connection.
I got a connection now, and you know, I never really like saw anything that I don't know what he did. I don't know what he did in WWF or anything like that. And you know, I thought he was a great writer. And then he went to WCW, and when he did the Oklahoma stuff, you know, I'm like, dude, that sucks. But I thought it was the funniest stuff in the world because the guy can do like impersonations of everybody. And then you know, when he left that, he and I talked or spoke because when he left WCW. It's right when XPW started to do their first show at the it was Scene of the Crime where me and Sabu wrestled in the cage, and they were supposed to have like Shane and Conan on the show, I think, and then I mean legitimately like WCW pulled the thing, or the lawyer said you can't wrestle anywhere, you can't. So what if WCW's not around anymore? You guys can't wrestle. You're still in the contract to us. So you know they got pulled off the show, and you know Ed got a hold of Kevin, or Kevin got a hold of Ed, and they were just talking bullshit, and then. I started talking to Ed, and you know they were bringing Ed because Ed legitimately worked for WCW and could have been like, yeah, sorry, WCW pulled the plug on this and everything. It just never happened. No. And when he left, when the whole thing happened with WWF, I said, or WCW, I'm like, are you gonna go back to WWF? He's like, no way, not in a million years. He's like, it was the worst. Yeah, I hated it there. He's like, if they want me back, it's only to fuck with me. That's the only reason that they would want me back right now is to fuck with me. I'm not gonna do it. And then when we did NWA TNA, he actually asked me to send out a promo tape, and I did. And he quit like after the first month there, you know, and for whatever reasons I don't know, but you know he just quit, and now he's just developing more like, you know, pilots and all that stuff from what I've been told. So.
Okay, getting back to the whole Slammer situation, what were your feelings on the DWO shoot?
DWO shoot. First of all, it's right when NWO happened, so get something fucking original. DWO. I was just like...
Yeah, what company didn't have
Yeah, exactly. I'm just like, DWO, get the hell out of here. And then, you know, it's funny when I look back at it now. When I was legitimately pissed off, because Slammers was like my home. That's where you don't fuck with that shit. Like I said, a lot of guys left, and the majority of those guys left on very bad terms. And we did a show. And, you know, I remember going out there going, wow, there's a lot more people here than we usually have. And it turned out it was because it was all the freaking ex-workers that were part of like Slammers that left. And
they were just there to watch the show? Or?
Yeah, something happened during intermission, and all of a sudden I hear this, they're going in the ring. I'm like, what? D gets in the ring, gets in the mic, says something, I don't know what the hell he's saying, and then all these guys get in the ring, and then lo and behold, they all take off their shirts and they're wearing DWO shirts. Another original idea. And you know, and I remember Vern, you know, Vern's like, no, don't do anything. Because we were in the locker room, like, you want us to do anything? No, just let them have the little thing. Let them do what they want to do.
So Vern didn't know about this happening?
I think he had an inkling, because I remember, like, Carlos called me up the night before and said, yeah, I think I'm going to try something. I'm like, okay, well, we'll see what happens. And, you know, they did. And, you know, Bear wanted to go out there and just clean house. And, you know, he's just like, and Carlos was like, no, just let them have their fun. Let them do what they want to do and everything. And
what did it stem from?
the DWO?
Yeah, that whole...
Just a lot of bitter freaking guys. That was my take on it. It was just a lot of bitter guys who were asked to leave, or they quit, and the majority of those guys quit because they couldn't take it. They just couldn't take it anymore. And realistically, maybe, I mean, I was still new to Slammers, so, but maybe they just thought it wasn't going anywhere. I don't know. But the next day, I get a call from Vern, and he's just like, you know, there's not going to be any class today. I'm like, okay. He's like, you know, just take it easy and God bless. And I'm like, oh crap, here we go. And Vern just closed down Slammers.
Just like that.
Just like that, he closed it down, and then I just remember like D and all them were, because the actual training center was in D's name, so D owned it. It was in, you know, the lease was in his name, so it was his building. It wasn't Slammers, it wasn't Vern's. And so, but he still invited me and Carlos to come down and train and everything. We went down there, and there was this guy named who wrestled as the Gargoyle in Slammers. His real name was Artie. He was a little shit.
Tell us how you really feel.
What was great was like, because he lived like, you know, Midwest or something like that, in the Midwest, and he did shows in every now and then or whatever. You know, he's considered big time, I guess. I don't know. And so he came he was there, and I remember Carlos would only wrestle me in front of those guys, and that pissed off White Trash Johnny Webb. He's like, why is Carlos only wrestling Billy? You know, and then he and I, we'd go in there, and then I remember Carlos didn't go one time, and then D and all these guys are there, and they, let me give you an idea. There was like this poster board, and this is after like Vern closed down Slammers, and they were gonna call, I think D was gonna call everything Southern California Championship Wrestling. I think that's what it was gonna be called. And there was this poster board, and basically it said wrestling name, finisher, music. I'm like, get the fuck out. Because in Slammers, it wasn't about the music, it wasn't about your finishers or anything like that.
Yeah.
It was like, dude, you go out there and you do your talking with wrestling. And I just remember looking, and there's like a guy calling himself like Machine Gun Kelly or something like that. The finisher, the drive-by. I'm just like, and these are guys who are students. And it's just like, Slammers' whole thing was never let a guy pick out their gimmick, or else they're gonna call themselves friggin' super velocity destroyer number 3. They just come up with stupid gimmicks.
Mm-hmm.
That's why you don't let guys choose their own gimmicks. I mean, that's what I've always thought. Every gimmick I've had, I've been given. And he ended up just like D. I remember just going there going, you gotta be kidding me. You gotta be kidding me. And then Artie was gonna speak, and so everybody sits down, and then Artie starts off the conversation with, all right, guys, just to let you know, 55%, or something like that, some outrageous number, 55% of the guys in this business are gay. He just starts off with that, and I'm like, what the fuck is that? And then he goes, okay, yeah, everybody works light, and he looks at me and goes, Billy, you're too stiff. You're way too stiff. I took it as a compliment. I was like, okay, whatever. And I never came back after that.
Wow.
I was just like, dude, I don't need this shit. And sure enough, they just didn't. I mean, nothing ever happened to them. I think they just went out of or nothing ever happened, and then everybody went to EWF, the one that was running out of Simi Valley.
Okay.
Then Vern ended up starting up Slammers right after the summer again, and it was just me and a couple other guys.
Who all stayed with Slammers?
Actually, the original crew from Slammers that just stayed was me, El Toro Bravo. Me, El Toro Bravo.
Is it Baron, Movie Star Mike?
Carlos, yeah, Movie Star Mike. And that was pretty much it. And then we had a few new students, and one of the students that came in was a guy named Gabriel, who was an XPW as Wantastico.
Mm-hmm.
He came in, I helped train him a little bit. Angel actually came out of that as well, but he wasn't there when I left. He had just gotten there. And that was us. We pretty much started Slammers or started it up, and it was just, we didn't do any shows. It was just a place to train and just get down and dirty and just keep your skills there. And actually, when we got into the new building, Vern made everybody sign these confidentiality agreements, saying if you see so and so, and it was just this long list of names, everybody that was part of that DWO clique, and it's like you will not tell them where the new facility is, blah 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 blah, all this stuff. So, that was that was pretty much the DWO. It was basically. It was a lot of, in my opinion, was a lot of bitter ex-guys, and that's the way they dealt with it. It didn't go anywhere, but that's what I thought the DWO was.
So how long did Slammers last as far as a training place for you guys?
It lasted. I mean, I left. When did I leave? I think I left in '98, and it was a case of I was kind of asked to leave. Or it was a decision made. It was a decision that Vern allowed me to make, and it was basically it was just we'd go in there, we'd train, and we had a few new students that would come in and everything, and basically every Sunday you'd go there and train and everything, and at the time I just had a lot of stuff going on in my life. My girlfriend at the time, she's going to move up to go to San Jose State. Then my parents are leaving, and they were going to move to Georgia. And so it's like either do I stay or do I go? And I just had so much shit on my plate that really wrestling couldn't, take 110% of my attention like it always did. And so I wasn't going to practice or anything like that. And at the time I wasn't paying or anything like that. I just, I just showed up, and that was part of the thing. I just got to show up and help with the students. And Vern just took me aside one time, and he's like, okay, what's going on with you? I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, okay, you're not showing up, you're not doing anything. And realistically, I was just sick and tired of getting the crap beat out of me in front of with greenhorns. I don't know what the hell they're doing, and I'm not showing anything for it. Nothing's happening as far as my wrestling career goes. And you know, he was just like, I just told him I have a lot of stuff going on. And he's like, for as long as I've known you, you've always had stuff going on. And I'm like, well, this is different, Vern. I can't put my attention to this. And he's like, you know something? He's like, for years I've put up with little shitheads like you telling me, you know, wrestling's my dream, and I always wanted to be a wrestler, and they always pull this shit once they find out it's not what it's about. And I'm like, Vern, you know I'm not like one of those guys. You know I'm not. I just got stuff going on, and this can't take 110% of my energy. And he's like, well, make a decision, you know, either you're here or you're not. And I chose not.
So what did you do during that time of not wrestling?
I was pretty much, I didn't wrestle for like a year, and you know, I really wanted to get back into it. But at the time, my parents moved to Georgia. I stayed in California. Then my girlfriend went off to San Jose State, and we both decided probably better for me if I moved to Georgia because I'd actually get a better job out there, save some money, then, you know, during Easter vacation or summer, come back out, you know, move to San Jose with her. And lo and behold, she joined a sorority. So she fucking, you know, broke up with me or whatever. And then, I was like, screw this, I'm still coming back to California. And I came back to California, and I wanted to get back into wrestling, but I didn't want to do Slammers. I didn't, because it wasn't doing anything. It wasn't going anywhere. And, you know, I kept in contact with Carlos. He and I talked and everything. And right when I came back is right when XPW first started. And they did their first show and everything. And I remember just hearing about it. And then, you know, I see like White Trash Johnny Webb with Missy Hyatt. I'm like, wait, I know that guy. And then,
so you weren't involved in the very first XPW show?
No, I wasn't.
How did you get involved and hooked up with XPW?
Basically, it was Carlos. He and I were talking.
He brought you in?
Yeah, and he pretty much said, you know, he was just like, dude, I want to do XPW. He's like, dude, they got a gimmick for me and everything they want me to do. And he was all excited about it. And he's like, just to let you know, people have been asking about you. And he's like, would you want to get into it? I'm like, yeah, of course. And so I show up one Tuesday, and I show up there, and I had met. I walk in there, and I had already met Supreme and Chaos previous already at the first roll show I ever did out of Slammers. They were on the show, and what was great was like me and Chaos joke about it now, and even Supreme, we joked about it. But like me and Carlos show up, and we're in Real Wrestling tights, so they thought we were like the real wrestlers and everything. And you know, those guys, they were just wearing, you know, Adidas pants and all that kind of crap and everything. And so they, you know, I just showed up to the XPW practice, and you know, I did some stuff, and Webb was there, Homeless Jimmy was there, a lot of guys that I recognized, and D was there, and they had a meeting, and then Kevin Kleinrock was there, and I had only met Kevin once or twice before, and then Kevin's like, hey, you want to come to the meeting? I'm like, no, it's okay. He's like, no, come in the meeting. I was like, okay, and basically, you know, Rob was just addressing everybody, and I'm sitting there, and Rob's just going, he's okay, first of all, who the fuck are you? And he just points at me. I'm like, I'm Billy. I wrestle with these guys. And he's like, okay. And then Webb's like, no, he's good. And that was pretty much it. And they started talking about how they were doing like the next show, they're having like a big battle royal or something like that, and they needed extra bodies. And Carlos was like, dude, why don't you get in it? I'm like, okay. And I put my hand up. I'm like, if you need an extra body, I'll do it. And then someone came out and said, no, put a mask on him because we don't want to waste you just yet. We don't want to drive you out. And so that's how I got my first match in XPW, was just being in the Battle Royal, getting, you know, the crap kicked out of me in the Battle Royal under a blue mask.
So at that meeting, basically, Rob Black was just looking for approval on you?
I guess. I don't know. I mean, it was... And for those who know Webb doesn't say shit about anybody. So, I mean, I guess that meant a lot when he's like, no, he's good. You know, and then Carlos, everybody had a very, very high, you know, opinion of Carlos as well. So they're like, no, this is Carlos is vouching for him as well. So that's pretty much how I got my in XPW.
What was your first impression of Rob Black?
Dick. Only because what's funny is what did Carlos say? We show up like one time. He's like I think the owners are Jewish, so don't make any Jewish jokes. I'm like okay. I don't make Jewish jokes anyway. And he's like, yeah, they film porno here and everything, so I mean they might be doing something, you know. I'm like, okay. And of course I'm all excited. I'm like, dude, that's freaking awesome. And then ended up I go to that first practice, and it was in the building, and I got lost or something like that, and I walk in this one office, and all I see are these huge boots, these nasty like moon-looking boots, on top of a desk, and the guy's on the phone, and I walked in the wrong room, like, oh, sorry, and that was it. And then we went to the meeting. That's when Rob pointed me out and everything, and then when And that was my first encounter with Rob, and that's all he ever said to me. And then that was on a Tuesday. That Thursday, everybody told me that they come in on Thursdays to practice as well. And I went there, and no one was there. In fact, Supreme and Jimmy were there, but they were going to go watch Jasmine St. Clair dance at some club. So I was the only one there. So I got in the ring, put on my gear, got in the ring, and I just started running the ropes and throwing myself around because I hadn't wrestled in a year, you know. And then next Tuesday, they're, company meeting again, and Rob's like, okay, where were all you guys on Thursday? And no one puts up their hands. He's like, the only guy that was here was this guy, and he was beating the shit out of himself, and no one was around. And then who's it? I think Webb or somebody said, he's like, oh, he likes you. Because I was just in there, like, throwing myself around and everything.
Impressed him a little bit there.
I guess, yeah, because I remember I was just kicking the crap out of myself, throwing myself into everything that I could get my hands on, and that's, that was, because that was the first time, I think that, like I said, that's when guys are like, no, he likes you, because Rob's Rob. He would just be like, if you're a Mexican, he'd call you a beaner, if you're Jewish, he'd call you a Jew. He was very crude, but he was very upfront that way too.
Yeah.
So.
Let me throw a couple other names at you that were involved with XPW. Patrick Hernandez.
Pat's a cool guy. He was the ref. He I got nothing bad to say about Pat. Or he was cool. He was always just one of these guys. He'd come up. You could tell he was always just happy to be there. He was just like, so how's it going? And he just talked to you. He was a cool guy.
Well, he was around even before XPW.
Well, actually, and something. The one thing I'll say about Pat is that the guy's a freaking great ref, man. He really is. I've never been in the ring with somebody that was like him because, I remember when I did the Go Funk Yourself match with Supreme, and I was so mentally and physically drained. He, just like a ref, he's like, no, good job. But I forgot what spot it was, and I just laid there. He's like, come on, sell it, come on. I was like, oh, fuck. And, he just, a good ref will get in your ear and just remind you little things here and just, keep you on your toes and everything because realistically, that's your cheerleader right there, telling you how things are going and giving you a pep talk when you need it. Mm-hmm. So he was an awesome ref. He could do anything in there as far as he was just always there. He was one step ahead of you, or he was always on beat with you, so he always knew what was going on. He's just not like these generic guys you see now. 1, 2, 3, and they're in the corner, and all of a sudden they're getting caught up in the match, and they forget that they're the ref. They're like, oh, whoops,
yeah. They're not making themselves part of the match.
Yeah, exactly. So.
Okay, what about Kevin Kleinrock?
Kevin? Kevin's a friggin' sheep, man. He just follows anything Rob says. He's a nice guy, hell of a nice guy, but I think right now he's just, it's like there's nothing really bad I can say about him, although he's just the one impression everybody gets, and it's just, he's a little weasel. Yeah. And I don't think he means to be a weasel. He looks like a weasel, but he's just he's not. It's like he's just one of these people where it's like you ask him a question, he has to go, can I answer that?
He basically does what he's told.
Oh yeah, very, very much so. Very much so. He's the guy has a heart of gold, and he but he it's funny because he's just like basically he'll pat you on the back, but then when you turn your back, he will talk shit. And if it's like if Rob don't like you, then Kevin don't like you. And unfortunately, the one thing Kevin does do that he takes the punishment a lot from Rob. Or if there's punishment towards Rob, Rob just throws him in front of it. That's who Rob uses to, if Rob doesn't want to deal with somebody on the phone or Rob's trying to not deal, Kevin just tell him I'm not here, something like that, But the kid just like everybody. He'll tell you, he had a dream to do a wrestling thing or be part of wrestling, and he is, So
Was he involved in the business that you know of before XPW?
No, I think he was just like he was part of Slammers actually.
Kevin was.
Yeah, from what he told me, he went to Vern because he didn't want to be a wrestler. He wanted to be like a promoter. He wanted to be like the booker. But Vern wouldn't let him in on anything. Vern's like, fuck you. I'm not gonna let you know what the fuck's going on. So Vern literally, from what I was told, was just dragged him along. And Kevin finally smartened up or whatever you want to call it, and he said, forget it. I don't want to do it anymore. Because the people who actually started XPW were Dynamite D, Patrick Hernandez, and Kevin. Then Rob came along and pretty much, took it over.
Took it.
So.
Okay, getting back to XPW, the very first King of the Deathmatch tournament. What are your thoughts on being involved in that?
That was It's like it's funny because I walked into the office one day to so I gotta wipe my eye now.
That's all right.
I had to I walked in the office one day and there's just this thing on the board that says, you know, XPW first annual King of the Deathmatch tournament, and it was a sign up sheet. You know, no one was gonna be forced to be in it or anything like that. And I just remember watching ECW with Carlos and Ed, and just thinking, dude, that'd be awesome to do like a barbed wire ladder match or something like that, or just be involved in something like that, you know. And so I jumped on it. I'm like, yeah, I'll do it. Yeah, I'll be in it. And so that's literally how I got into the first death match, or doing my first death match. You know, the tournament itself, it's weird because you know, looking back on the tape, I mean, it was definitely something California had never seen.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the people around here never saw any of that. You know, and I had never been part of it. The majority, I think, for the most part, the majority of us that were in that tournament had never done anything like that before. You know, you had guys like Axel Rotten, the veterans like Axel Rotten and everything, you know, but other than that, and Cronus, but other than that, none of us had ever done anything like that before. So, you know, I think it was a big time accomplishment for us to do that. Unfortunately, me doing as well as I did in there, I kind of bit myself in the ass because all of a sudden I got typecasted, and I started doing more. I got pushed in more death matches, you know. So what was great was I remember, you know, I went out to the second round against Supreme, and Supreme and I, we did pretty well. But I mean, I had a gusher. I was just gushing, and that was like the first or second time I ever gigged, and or that I ever bled heavily. And then I'm like, they wanted to do a thing where it's like the Japanese tapes where, you know, you're backstage and everything and whatnot. And you know, Supreme goes over on me. I'm just lying there. Paramedics come out. Lazy comes out there. You all right? I'm like, they get me up and I start dragging back. And then Lazy goes, Webb's gonna jump you. I'm like, what? Webb's gonna jump you. I'm like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. And I turn around. There's Webb with this steel thing and just hits me with it. And then you know, that was the catalyst for he and I to do, was to start our feud. And then they pick me up, the ring crew guys pick me up, and they start walking me backstage, and it's at the Palace, so the backstage area is really dark. All I see is this one little bright light. That's all I see. So I thought it was a camera. So I'm still selling it, and I'm walking down like this, I'm dragging my feet. I see Christy Mist, I see Lizzie, they're just like, oh my god, oh. I'm walking back, and then as soon as they get into more light, I see it's one of the ring crew guys with the flashlight. So all of a sudden I go, all right. And next thing I know, I see Rob running down there. Billy, you okay? Yeah, I'm fine. Oh, you little faggot gave me a heart attack. I'm like, no, I'm fine. I was just selling it, you know. And you know, my only thing was, did I make the poster now? Can I be on the poster? They're like, yeah, you made the poster.
So was XPW as a company really concerned about everybody in this deathmatch tournament?
Yeah, they were. They didn't want anybody getting messed up or anything like that, or seriously injured. I mean, that night was supposed to be Supreme's night. Supreme was supposed to go over for it, which he did. You know, that was supposed to be all about Supreme. Lazy is the one who really started the whole deathmatch thing, or like the trophy, because he actually wanted to call, because he said, because I didn't know anything about deathmatches that much, but he's like, no, you don't have like a belt, you have a trophy, and you name the trophy something. He wanted to call it the Bruiser Brody Trophy. I'm like, okay, that's cool. And they're like, no, we're gonna have a champ. You know, forget it, we're actually gonna have a champ. And Lazy's the one who pretty much came. He's the one that came from what I was told, or from what I understand. Lazy's the one who started. So as long as they got a deathmatch belt there, there's always going to be a piece of Lazy there, regardless of Rob likes it or not. And it was you know, we did the show, we did that match, and then, you know, on top of that, that's when Shane Douglas came out and did his little shoot thing and everything, because he wasn't supposed to do anything like that. He was just there to see the show. You know, and he took it upon himself to come out there. And, you know, because
get
involved, you know. Whether it was because of his ego and he just wanted to be on a mic, or whether it's because he actually saw a bunch of young kids busting their ass, I don't know. But, you know, he just wanted to be involved in it and everything. So, I mean, that night was definitely like a night that I'll never forget. And it was just, the whole entire night was very surreal, because never in a million years did I think I'd ever be doing that, or doing anything close to that, getting put through thumbtacks and, you know, all that crap.
So you say you basically got labeled as kind of like a deathmatch type hardcore wrestler. So after that tournament, were you at least asked to do those type of matches, or were you forced?
Well, you weren't necessarily forced, but, you know, you walk in the office and then it's like, here's the lineup for next show. Candido versus so and so. Supreme Messiah deathmatch. Deathmatch? What? Another one? Yeah, you're gonna do another deathmatch. Okay. You know, you don't say anything, but.
Did you ever get tired of doing it?
Oh yeah, yeah, totally. I mean, I get tired of doing it now. You know, I get tired of bleeding and everything like that, and it's just, you know, unfortunately, I've had discussions about this with other guys. It's like, you know, I'd like to think I'm a pretty good pro wrestler, that I'm a good accomplished wrestler. I can do, you know, I can mat wrestle, I can do all. That's what I was taught. But unfortunately, you know, no, it's not even unfortunately, but I'm also a good deathmatch worker. I know how to do stuff in death matches, you know, like Johnny Cashmere in CZW. He'll straight out tell you, dude, I know tag matches. I know how to do a tag match. Single match, I don't know, but tag matches, I know how to do that. You know, with me, guess what? Death match, I can freaking put on a damn good death match.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I know what I'm doing with that. So it was, you know, I was never forced to do any of that stuff, but it was like my whole, you know, my whole thing is like, either put up or shut up. Don't bitch and moan about doing the match. Just do the best that you can do.
Yeah.
You know, and then one of the drawbacks about doing death matches is that guys that I do look up to, you know, or guys that I do admire, or guys that I do have respect for in this business, look down on me for doing it.
Yeah.
You know, and so all they think is that I'm a garbage wrestler and that I can't do anything else.
Yeah, you weren't able to showcase most of your wrestling ability in a death match.
That, you know, the only way I can get over is putting myself through a bunch of thumbtacks. You know, and I'd like to think, you know, whether or not he's blowing smoke up my ass, I don't know. Like when I wrestled Christopher Daniels, you know, he got on the mic and just said, dude, you're in my respect. You got a lot of talent and everything. Whether or not he was just doing that for the people that were around there, I don't know. But that actually meant a lot to me, because that's one of the guys where it's like, dude, you know, I wrestled Chris Daniels, and, you know, the guy's freaking awesome.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and
worldwide popular.
Yeah, exactly. And for him to do that and say that, I was very honored that he did that. You know, so.
How long did it take before you got a big, solid push in XPW?
It didn't take that long. It was weird because originally my gimmick in XPW was supposed to be Luke. I was supposed to be part of a tag team called Luke and Matthew, the Moral Crusaders. Like Bible thumping brothers, you know, that kind of thing. You know, use rosaries to like choke people out and that kind of stuff. And I was excited. I thought that was a pretty good friggin' gimmick. It was just you know, basically it's like, I was, you know, the Luke and Matthew were standing up to what XPW stood for, which was, you know, pornography, violence, that kind of stuff. It was very much like how the Right to Censor thing was. And, you know, this gimmick was there even before the Right to Censor gimmick ever happened. And they kept me under the blue mask for a couple shows because I can make people look good. So basically, I was jobbing out to like Nicole Bass and everything, trying to make her look like a monster, because she didn't know what the fuck she was doing at all.
Mm-hmm.
You know, she gave me a choke slam one time and dropped me absolutely on my head. You know, and but of course it was my fault. She blamed it on me. But finally, I you know, I remember one time Rob, I was like lacing up my boots, and Rob he's like, hey, I was thinking about you last night. He's like, I had an idea for a gimmick, but then because where I worked, I couldn't have facial hair or grow my hair out or anything like that. He's like, but you can't do it. I'm like, okay, yeah, that's too bad. And next week, he's like, I'm like, well, I got an idea for a gimmick. Can I talk to you about it? He's like, yeah, okay. And I was able to get a meeting with him. And Supreme was there and Kevin was there. And I just pretty much said, dude, you know, I know you got this idea for me, you know, the Moral Crusader gimmick. Let me do it as a singles. And, you know, once someone comes along that fits the bill as far as the tag team goes, you got yourself a tag team right there. Mm-hmm. And he just looked and he's like, I don't know. And Supreme's like, dude, let him do it. Let him do it. And Rob's like, okay, I'll let you do it, but if it doesn't work, it's your ass. You know, and Kevin said something, and Rob said something like no, you know, if he does this well, I want to push this character. I want to push this gimmick. And he was like, okay, and my, so finally you know, I think I did my last match as Lunatic, you know, jobbing out to Nicole Bass, and then I debuted as Messiah. Or actually, I didn't even have a name, because I remember they wanted me to do like this big promo. Kevin actually printed out or wrote out this script for me to memorize for the promo to the crowd, and I memorized it as best as I could. But even I was like, what the fuck is this? And then, as far as I knew, I was supposed to be Luke the Moral Crusader. I go into practice one day, and Rob's like, hey, what's up, Jesus? I'm like, what? He's like, hey, what's up, Jesus? He's like, that's your gimmick. You're going to be Jesus. I'm like, no, I can't be. I'm not going to be Jesus. He's like, why not? I'm like, dude, I go to church. I've even went to Brazil to build a church one time. I can't be Jesus. There's no way I can do it. You know, and Rob's whole thing was stop being a pussy. You know, don't be a pussy about it. Don't be a pussy about it. And Kevin actually stood up for me. He's like, no, you can't, don't, dude, the guy can't do it. Don't let him do it. So my first show, my first show, I didn't have a name. They didn't even call it. The ring announcer at the time, it was against White Trash Johnny Webb, and get on the mic. He gets on the mic and he says, you know, White Trash Johnny Webb, whatever, and then he goes in this corner, Jesus, what?
Oh.
And I got in his face and I'm like, don't you ever call me that again. The guy's name was Guido. I'm like, don't you ever call me that again, Guido. Don't you ever friggin' do it. And so Rob and Kevin, one of them is like, okay, well, it's either Messiah or Savior. And I was like, I don't care, you know, whatever. And, you know, they got the name Messiah. And then my first match was against Webb. That was all right. Yeah, because what happened was my first match was with Webb, and then I wrestled Carlito. And
Which event was that?
that was abuse. No, that was like the Merry Xmas. That's when I debuted, and that was in '99, I think, or 2000. And then the next month we did the deathmatch stuff, deathmatch tournament. And right after deathmatch tournament, I remember we did our next show, the next month. My music hits, and I just hear this this roar, you know, and I'm like, wow, I got a nice little pop. And I go out there, I wrestled Webb, you know, I did pretty well. And then little by little, I started getting like Rob and all of them started paying attention to the internet, and the fans were like, no, Messiah is good, you know, this, that, you know. It was really the fans who gave me the push. It wasn't Rob or them. Rob just went with what the fans said.
Yeah, he had no choice.
You know, and that's essentially what happened. And then Candido won the belt, and then Candido, the next show, was it? No, I can't remember. Oh no, after we did the death match, then we did one more show at the Palace. Then we had our first LA Sports Arena show where I wrestled Webb in the steel cage, and I took that you know 15 foot high. I went off the top of the cage through a table on the outside. Mm-hmm. And then the next month we did a double hitter. I think it was like we did Bakersfield, and then we did LA Sports Arena, but Candido no-showed or something like that, and so they just decided to strip Candido of the belts, and they did a tournament in Bakersfield, and they put me and Sabu in the final of the tournament. You know, and that was like my first name, if you want to call it, that I wrestled. And,
I was working with Sabu.
I was scared shitless, man. I was scared shitless. I remember he the day that I think it was the day before we did the show, something like me and Supreme, we did like a run-in or something like that, and all Sabu was supposed to do was just like take the tire iron to our head or something like that. And you know, I'm getting ready, and I got my little blade and everything to gig, and he's talking to me. I don't know if I look nervous, and then he looked at me and goes, "Don't be nervous." I was like, "Oh, okay." You know, I guess I looked it. I don't know. And then
either that or you're screwing with it.
Yeah, which he does that too. I didn't know that back then, but yeah, he fucking screws with you as much as he can. And then I wrestled him in the finals, and literally I got no offense in that match. It was just all Sabu kicking the crap out of me. Whatever he said, I did, you know. And that was my own fault, because guys like that, you know, Sabu, you know, you don't take anything, or you know, he'll just beat the crap out of you.
He just took advantage.
He just took advantage a little bit, but you know, everything I did, I got a little, you know, shots in here and there, you know. But from what I was told after the match, he was like, no, the kid's good. He's like, he listens, he's good. And that was pretty much it. And you know, like I said, it was more or less the fans that, you know, gave me my push, because Rob was the one, they just like, because I remember Axel Rotten was there, and Axel, for the tournament, Axel like, why don't you just let me and Sabu wrestle each other? He's like, no, I'm going to have Messiah. And he's like, why are you going to have that kid do it? It's called it. The fans talk about him all the time, man. They fucking love him.
Give the fans what they want.
You know, and that's what it was. What was great about that match is I remember Sabu's beating the crap out of me. I got no offense. I'm against the guardrail, and this kid comes up to me, patting me on the, you're doing great. You're doing awesome. I was like, okay.
All right, let me throw some more names at you that were in XPW at the time. Johnny Webb, your feelings.
Webb's a great guy. I mean, I think he's like me in an aspect, or in the respect of, people think I come off as a dick a lot because I'm quiet. I'm just naturally quiet. I don't really talk a lot or anything like that. And but Webb, it was funny. We did a match in Bakersfield one time, and Webb, it's weird. Webb's just one of these guys where I guess when he got into wrestling, he's really into it. Then shortly thereafter, he's like, I don't like it anymore. And Rob kept on, you gotta wrestle, because his knees were hurting him and everything. And he'd always joke, I don't even want to wrestle. I don't want to wrestle. I hate wrestling. He'd always joke about that. And I did a match with him one time in Bakersfield, and we're done with it, and I go outside. And Webb doesn't give compliments at all. He just doesn't. That's not Webb. He doesn't do that. He doesn't talk nice or anything. He makes jokes about everything. You know, he's one of the most sarcastic sons of bitches I ever met in my life. But that's what makes him Webb. That's what makes him great. And I remember I'm just sitting there, and I walk outside. I see Webb in the corner. And Webb smokes like 20 packs of cigarettes a day. And I walk outside, and I see in this dark corner just this little red light from a cigarette, and it's Webb. I'm like, you all right? He's like, yeah. He's like, hey, Billy. I'm like, yeah. He's like, good match, man. Thanks. I really appreciate it. I'm like, no problem, dude. Don't even worry about it. And that was like the only compliment I ever got from him. And you know, he was the guy that pretty much ran it. If you want to talk, dude, he did everything on Extreme. He edited everything, whether it be wrestling or the adult. You know, that guy put in like 18-hour days all the time. You know, chances are if you were at the office, Webb was there, and when you left, Webb was still going to be there. That's just the way he was.
Workaholic?
He was big time workaholic. You know, he busted his ass for that company. Big time. You know, he, in fact, I went to that Night of the Champions show, and for XPW, and that's when Webb wrestled Shane Douglas, and Webb and I, we didn't see eye to eye in some things, but it wasn't like nasty kind of thing. It was just like certain like show stuff and that kind of crap. And when I left Extreme, I know a lot of people talked a lot of shit while I wasn't there. You know, and they assumed a lot of things, and they pretty much talked a lot of shit. And Webb,
The locker room in general?
not even, it wasn't the locker room, it was the office. And I know Webb was one of those guys. But when the Night of the Champions thing happened, I showed up to the show, and I was just there to see the show. I mean, I stayed off hard cam. I wasn't trying to get any attention whatsoever. But Webb and Shane Douglas wrestled each other, and the match blew chunks. It was horrible. You could tell Webb's knee was killing him. It was just killing him. The crowd wasn't responding. They were chanting boring, throwing a beach ball around and everything. And it was just a horrible show. Or not a horrible show, but the match just it wasn't good.
Was that the main event?
No, that was the semi-main event. And next day I get a call from Webb. I had all my friends were over, and one of them answered the phone. I'm like, who's it? Webb. I'm like, Webb? What the hell is Webb calling me for? Talking. And Webb pretty much, and he's like me, he's just a straight shooter. He's like, heard you didn't like my match. And I was like, no, dude, it sucked. It was horrible. He's like, dude, but my knee. I'm like, dude, no. I'm like, Webb, it sucked, but dude, you continued the match. I'll give it up to you, dude. I'll give it up to you, but dude, the match sucked. And then he's just like, what were you doing at that show? I'm like, dude, I was there to support the boys, support you guys. I mean, dude, I went there to watch a wrestling show. And he's just like, you and I go way back. And I'm like, okay. He's like, no, we just go way back. That's why I'm calling you. Dude, just watch yourself. I'm like, okay. He's like, no, seriously, Billy, watch yourself. Just be careful. I was like, okay. And that was the last conversation I ever had with Webb.
So he might have heard something.
I know he knew something or he heard something. Yeah, I mean, he heard something or he knew something. But like I said, Webb keeps to himself. He doesn't talk to anybody.
We'll get back to that part later. But what about Homeless Jimmy?
Jimmy, as dumb as a box of nails, but has a heart of gold. He'll do anything and everything. I mean, the craziest stuff I've ever seen in my life. And dude, he'll walk away and just, how'd that look? Oh, you mean getting thrown off 30 feet off? Oh yeah, that was fine. Dude, he looked awesome. Okay, he was just, dude. He was he's definitely a character. I mean, it was good to see him when I did the CZW Tournament of Death. He was there. It was good to see him and everything, and talk to him and catch up with him.
So you guys are good?
Yeah, everything's cool with Jimmy. I mean, Jimmy's a cool guy. Just I think he was just one of these guys where he, in order to get over with the fans, he had to do the craziest stuff in the world. And I remember it was funny, like when New Jack was there and Jimmy were there. New Jack goes out there with a trash can full of goodies. Jimmy goes out there with a shopping cart full of goodies. They're both taking each other's shit like this, like they're not looking at each other, just like this. Putting it over here. Jimmy's like, all right, take this, put it over here. They're just stealing each other's stuff. It was the funniest thing in the world.
What about Damian Steele?
Damian Steele, I didn't know him that well. He, I personally think, he was the way Rob described it was like, he's like, dude, he's got the look, but he sucks. That's what Rob would say. He's got the look, but he sucks.
Well, at least he knew that.
And he when he left XPW on good terms and right terms. He's like, dude, I'm leaving. I'm gonna go back to UPW. but I want to put over the, Billy and Chaos and, that kind of stuff. So, I got nothing bad to say about him or anything like that. He was the, I mean, dude, he was XPW's first champ. So he definitely looked the part. He spoke it. I mean, one of the great mic worker. But he he's just just like a lot of guys. I guess he has like personal demons he's dealing with. And hopefully he overcomes them.
Big Dick Dudley.
Big Dick Dudley. Big Dick Dudley. Al Rizzo. He was a cool guy. I never had like any conversations with him or anything like that. But he was a really, really cool guy. He was like a lot of the guys in XPW. If it wasn't for him, XPW wouldn't have gotten a lot of the names that they got in the beginning, because it was like he was the one that had the contacts.
Yeah, he was help booking, right?
Yeah. As far as I knew, like I don't know if he did the booking or anything like that, but he was it was like when I think about it now, it's the funniest thing. But back then, he was like the first name I ever saw up close. So in a weird way, I was in kind of awe of him, because dude, this is like the guy I've seen on pay-per-views, and then what he did something, I forgot what it was. It was just, it's like I remember he was going around. We had to do a run and we all get choke slammed. He's like, can you take a choke slam? You know how to take a choke slam? Take a choke slam? You want to take a choke slam? Like dude, like he's giving out candy. Like, you want to take a choke slam? I'm like, oh yeah, sure, I'll fucking take it. All right. No, he was cool. I mean, like XPW owes a lot of its success as far as bringing in names and everything to him.
Yeah.
He was one of the guys that helped XPW definitely get its feet off the ground.
One more for you. Larry Rivera.
Oh, Chico, he's fucking
Chico.
awesome, dude. I love Larry. I remember my first initial thing of Larry was just like, dude, this guy sucks. Fucking horrible. I don't like it, But, once it just grew on you, and I loved it. One of the funniest bits I ever saw was him and Rob, when Rob gave him a guitar, and he started playing the guitar and everything, and Rob's like singing like ABC or some Jackson 5 song. It was funny as hell, and dude, Larry was freaking great. I loved him. I mean, I never once saw him in a bad mood. He'd walk in there and he greet you with a Chico and a hug and everything. He was awesome. So hopefully something else will happen around here. And he'll get back on TV, because like my initial thing was, dude, this sucks. Oh, this is horrible. But then it just grew on, as time grew on, him and Klaus actually got, they started gelling better together, so it just came off better too. So he was awesome. I loved Larry.
Do you know his reasons for leaving at all?
No, I mean, he just pretty much told me, it was like, the way Extreme did stuff was like, be here at 10. We're going to shoot at 10. Okay, guess what? We're shooting at 3. And dude, some people, like, dude, they got lives, they got stuff to do, and Larry's one of those guys, and from what I was told, Larry just got pissed off one night and was like, dude, you told me to be here, something happened, and Rob blew up at him and said, fine, then get out of here, and Larry's like, fine. And then they pulled that bullshit thing with getting the fake Larry Rivera, using Fantastico, which was like the biggest slap in the face, and it was horrible. That's where like their booking, like I've always said, XPW, the boys, top notch. The Office has their head up their ass. I mean, that in itself, that you could just use that as Exhibit A right there. Dude, they took an established already gimmick, and then they just gave it to somebody else just because he kind of had the accent. Like it's a movie. Like, just because Tobey Maguire can't did Spider-Man, he can't do Spider-Man 2. They're gonna just get another guy to do it.
No.
Dude, it's like,
just
dude,
like Batman.
Dude, you might as well just spit in the fan's face and just say, we think you're toddlers and you're not paying attention to stuff.
Well, that gimmick did not get over at all.
No, it didn't. It sucked. You need, dude. It has to be. It's just like, it's kind of like what they did with Ultra Boy Luke. Dude, that was a complete and blatant ripoff of me. It totally was. I don't care what any friggin' Mark says. It was. Dude, they went over. Luke. That was supposed to be my original gimmick. And he came out, and dude, I've seen bits and pieces of the kid. Like, I saw him at the Night of Champions. The kid does friggin' flips, all that stuff. That's awesome. But dude, it's not me, and I'm not saying I'm the greatest thing in the world. Believe me, I think I suck half the time. But dude, you can't treat the fans like it's 1980s wrestling. It just doesn't work anymore that way. Just like they blatantly took, dude, Tool. Then all of a sudden they come out with Snuff. Or was it the West Siders and they got the Black Panthers? dude, come on, get the, we know you're stealing your shit from movies anyway, but you're gonna redo the gimmick all over again?
You know, Supreme as a person and as a worker.
As a person, the guy's great. I mean, dude, awesome father, awesome husband. I had a lot of good times with him. He and I mean, I don't talk to him anymore at all. He was, dude, as a person, he's just, he's an awesome guy. He was one of my best friends in XPW. As a worker, dude, like I said, I mean, when it comes to death matches, he knows his shit. He really, really, really does. I haven't seen any of his new stuff. I know he's wrestling like Justice Pain and everything, in which I've wrestled him, So, I know Justice Pain can be a pain in the ass to work. So I seriously wonder how their stuff looked together. But, as a worker, he, like I said, top deathmatch worker. The guy can do some mat wrestling. But I think right now, and I know when I was leaving, or even when I was gone, we talk. He's just like, dude, I don't care anymore. He's like, dude, XPW allowed me to live my dream of going to Japan. And I got to do death matches. I got to do an exploding death match. Like, Supreme's definitely one of the guys who loves doing death matches. He loves it. He gets off on it. So he's gotten to live his dream. Right now I think he's going with the flow. And
His heart might not all be into it anymore.
yeah, especially now Chaos left. I mean, whether or not he's coming back, it's definitely, XPW is definitely not what it was. It's not anymore. It's just basically a fed for a bunch of ex-WCW and ECW workers to go to.
Okay, here's a big one. The ECW Heatwave 2000 pay-per-view, crashing the event.
Oh, jeez.
Explain the event in your words.
In my words, it's funny, this is like the one question everybody asks. We just went there to show our t-shirts. That's all it was. At the time there was like this lawsuit going on. ECW was suing Extreme over the name Extreme, which was a bullshit lawsuit because there's plenty of companies out there even at that time that had the word Extreme in it. But we went there, and Rob had bought like the whole entire front row, a couple bleacher seats, and we went there and just want to wear our t-shirts. So we had our t-shirts on, and we go up to the front. Alex security stops us and like, we can't let you in with these t-shirts. Why not? There's a lawsuit going on. You can't wear it. Sorry. If you turn the t-shirts inside out, we'll allow you to come back in. But if you show these t-shirts at any time, we're having LAPD escort you out. We're like, okay. We come to find out like they're even taking like XPW signs, everything, and so we walk in there, and I just remember it was like a rush of people just came up to us. We were getting more recognized at the ECW show than we were at our own shows, and we sit down and basically we just, dude, don't move, just watch the show, don't pop for anything, and we're like, okay, yeah, no problem. So we're sitting there, and all of a sudden it's like the phone game. It's coming from one ear to the other. Okay, when Christy stands up, we're all showing our t-shirts. What? And sure enough, she stands up. I'm like, what the fuck? Everybody stands up. I'm like, oh, here we go. Take it off. And all of a sudden I feel like these hands come over and grab me and almost pull me over the guardrail. They actually ripped my t-shirt off me. And turn around and, it was out of security or whatever. And then, half the building starts chanting XPW, half the building starts chanting ECW. And then get up and I'm being escorted out by LAPD. I have my hands behind my back. Chaos is in front of me, walking. People are like, fuck XPW, yeah, XPW, And all of a sudden I get this whack upside the head. I'm like, what the hell was that? I turn around, and it looks like this old drunken fan, hasn't shaved, all balding, long hair. I'm looking at Chaos, and I look again, it's Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman, he's like, you motherfucker, he just fucking, he hit me, and we get taken outside, and then there he is, he's like, come on, hit me right now, you pussy. And there's like 4 LAPD officers behind him. And then Chaos, I'm like, dude, he's just keeping his mouth shut. I'm like, dude, Paul, we're not going to hit you. All we want to do is wear our t-shirts. That's all we wanted to do, but you wouldn't let us do that. And he's like, come on, hit me, you pussy. And he spits in Chaos's face. And Chaos is like, oh, and I'm like, dude, no, we're not going to hit you. And he spits at me, he's like, come on, hit me, come on, you pussy, hit me. I'm like, no, I'm not going to hit you so I can get freaking taken off so they can arrest me right now. No, I'm not going to do it, pussy. And he just, he leaves. Goes back inside, then we're walking outside, and I see this door fling open. All these people come out, all the workers, and I had Balls Mahoney and Kid Cash in my face, and they're just like, dude, what's going on? I'm like, dude, we just wanted to wear our t-shirts. All we wanted to do. What the hell? And no one ever took a swing at me. You know, and then all of a sudden there was like a little tuffle going on like in the corner, and I just see Jimmy like doing this to somebody, like just beating the crap out of somebody, and that was pretty much it, you know. And then just went there to wear the t-shirts. I mean, no one like the one thing that everybody talks about is like either one of us took a swing at Francine, which never happened, or that Francine took a swing at Christy, or one of the Alice security took a swing at Christy. That never happened. What happened was like Supreme was they're trying to take off Supreme's shirt. Supreme's like, no, give me my shirt. They're pulling or whatever. Christy's on a chair, and he runs into her and she falls. That's what happened. No one ever took a swing at Christy or Francine or anything like that. And as far as I know, none of the XPW workers, none of us got hit at all. It was two female fans and some Marine Crew kids. That's who they beat the crap out of, you know. And that was the incident. But I mean, I think it was ballsy and pretty stupid of us just to go over there and be like, yeah, we can, we'll do what I want. Because Rob's whole thing was, this is our turf, you know. And then
how do you feel of him not being there?
At the time, I thought he was a pussy. Because this was his big thing. And I'm like, is Rob going? And Kevin's like, no, he's not going. Why isn't he going? He's just not. He's not going to go. What was great was that like Atlas Security actually had because Kevin went and sat there and was just Kevin said that they actually had like security guards there for Rob and him and Lizzie, just to keep an eye on him and Rob and them, and they're at his pad watching it on pay-per-view. And I just remember, like, is Rob coming? No, he's not going to come. Why not? He doesn't do this kind of stuff. That's when I realized right then and there, it's like, I mean, I remember I was driving with Chaos, and Chaos is like, what's wrong, man? I'm like, dude, this is bullshit. That was wrong. That's what I even said. So that was so wrong what just happened. And we all go to Rob's house, and then, it's like a big party over there that this happened. But Rob's whole thing was, good or bad publicity is still publicity. So, I mean, he got what he wanted out of it. But I just remember thinking, this is stupid.
Do you think being involved with that hurt your career at all?
See, if you'd asked me then, I would have been like, yeah. Now I think, I'm just doing my own thing, and I'm having a great time. I think with the way the powers in wrestling have shifted, how there's just one dominant Fed now, and and it's I think it has in some kind of way, because some people just can't let it go, whether or not, like I said, whether or not WWE even knows I exist, I don't know. Whether or not they've even considered me, I don't know. All I know is that Paul Heyman works there, and I'm willing to bet if Paul Heyman remembers me at all, yeah, I'm never getting there.
Your name might be on a list.
Yeah, it's on a very, very long list of people that are just banned, and I'm sure my name is on there somewhere.
All right, getting back to Sabu, I mean, you mentioned basically, elaborate a little bit more on Sabu and your thoughts on him and working with him.
I love working. Anytime I get a chance, because really working him is really easy. It's very simple. Dude, the guy single-handedly revolutionized the business. He made tables cool. He
and made some company very rich.
Yeah, exactly. And he it was just the chance to actually to work him is great. I mean, actually, that I can call him a friend is I think is awesome too. He definitely showed me little things here and there that I thought was awesome. When we did Gathering the Juggalos, it was me, Chaos, and Almost Jimmy. He took care of us, because none of us had ever been on the road before. We never did like a show. We only did XPW. We only drove to do something. We never been on a plane or anything like that. So he took care of us. He watched out for us. And I think he's an awesome guy. I think a lot of people, especially these internet fans, get on his ass all the time. He's not what he used to be. Well, guess what? Do what he did for the past God knows how many long years. Let's see how great your body's gonna, do, and let's see how well you're gonna perform. Because I know for a fact when I wrestled him, every time I wrestled him, he's been on the money. So I mean, it's like, dude, I just love the internet fans that just criticize him. Dude, get your friggin' shut up, get off your asses, and you try to do what he did.
Yeah, I'm not too thrilled on the internet fans. A lot of these people don't even go to the shows themselves. They just sit behind the computer.
No, you're exactly right. Either they don't have the talent to get in there, or they don't have the balls. But they know how a wrestling match is supposed to work. They know how to run a wrestling company.
Yeah,
they know how to do angles.
Yeah.
That's why it's like, dude, whatever. Like Zandig and I had to talk about this, and it's just like, dude, for every you know, it's funny because it's not like I can be like Jay and Silent Bob and go to everybody's fucking house to talk shit and punch him out, you know. And it's just funny. You take it with a grain of salt, you know. You just like, dude, whatever. Because these are the same kids who are like, man, this guy sucks. But once you're there, dude, hey, how's it going to shake your hand?
Exactly.
That's what I love about it. You know, it's just like, dude, hey, I didn't say that. I never said anything.
No.
You know.
All right, I'll watch you just hit that right now.
And your referee for tonight's main event, Rick Knox.
First time ever this match has happened, Scott.
These guys have never seen each other in the fight.
Christopher Daniels.
Set up for this match!
They size each other up a little bit.
Right now, what do you say? No.
We're going to get still.
Not ready. Watch your hand, watch your head. What'd you say, Messiah? Oh, how about it?
No!
Right here, talk to me. What'd he say, huh?
No!
He's not ready. Talk to me. What'd he say, huh?
Come on, Daniels!
Brady Jesus Messiah! Oh, wait a minute.
Come on, Daniels. What'd he say?
No.
Huh? He's not ready, Messiah. I'm right here.
No! Oh!
How about now, Daniels?
No!
Keep that clean. Keep that clean.
No.
Not ready. I'm right here. Talk to me, huh?
No.
Ring the bell.
No. Ask him.
How about now? What do you say, huh?
No.
Said no. Right there. What do you say, man? Give me the word. We can end it right
No.
now. How about now, huh? What do you say?
Ask him, come on.
Come on, what do you say, Messiah?
Come on!
Word, huh? He's not ready. What do you say, huh?
Ask him.
He's not ready. Talk to me, huh?
No.
Come on, what do you say, huh? Give me the word? How about him,
Ask
Messiah,
him.
huh? What do you say, huh? You can end it right now. He's not ready, Chris.
Let's go, out of the corner. Come on, 1, 2, clean break, 3, 4. Come on, let's go. Break it off. Come on! Hey! Come on! Tough those pedals. Come on, pull him out of the corner. Let's go! Oh, shit!
Messiah! Messiah! Messiah!
2.
No! Choking him out there. What do you say, Daniels, huh?
Keep it inside the ring here, Messiah. Let's go.
Come on, Daniel!
What do you say? You ready to do that?
Fallen angel!
On the ropes and just on the side. Hold on. Come on, Daniel.
Come on, Ref, come on, get out!
It's only 2. You get that shoulder up.
We did it! Come on, Ref! Got paid.
Come on, Daniels. Let's watch the hair pulls here.
on, 1, 2, 3.
What do you say, Messiah, huh? What do you say? I'm right here, huh?
Come on.
Keep that clean on the chin. No choking out. What do you say, Messiah? Ring the bell, huh? Not ready.
I want this ready.
Ring the bell right over there. What do you say, huh?
I didn't bring him the dog,
Open up those fists. Let's go. Bring him out of the corner, all right? Open up those fists. Like that. Let's go. Come on. Come on, let's go. Open him up. 1. Bring him out.
Punch him again. Once more. He deserves it.
See, you don't need fucking light, dude.
2, 3. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
That's it. Cover up.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's go. 1. Finish him off. 3.
That's it. 1. Oh! Over the leg. You're right. You're right. Get off the leg. Come on. One more.
That's what I'm talking about. Drop him on his head. Drop him on his head.
Come on, Milan. Get him off the ropes. One, two, 3, 4, 5, 6. Come on, Daniels, off the ropes. Let's go. Bring it in the ring. Come on, 1.
Can you hear us? All right, let's get your thoughts on a few more names in the XPW. The ladies, like Lizzie Borden.
Lizzie Borden, great, superb actress. That's all I'll say about her.
Okay. Christy Mist.
She's like one of my best friends. I mean, when we were both part of XPW, I mean, we were just like occasional hi, that kind of thing. No, she and her like her little, she has a little daughter that I absolutely love, man. I mean, she like I tell her she's my favorite girl in the world, you know, and that's who you know, they when the whole attack thing happened, I mean, they were like the people that I hung out with. Those are the people I surround myself with. You know, she's a great lady. I mean, she can be a bitch at times, but
they all can.
But like, yeah, but like what girl can't?
Yeah.
But she, yeah, they, you know, she, I mean, like I said, when I was in XPW, we weren't like friends. I mean, we'd like occasional hi, and she'd, you know, flirt with me or something like that, or
passing in the
yeah, just goof off kind of thing. And then basically, it's when I got fired that she and I started, because she had already left Extreme. And then when I got fired, she and I, what was ironic was it was when I was at Extreme, she and I started talking again. She had gotten fired, and then Dee was gotten a hold of her, and then we started talking. And I remember we were at some meeting, and I was going to meet up with her later to go hang out. And my phone rings, and Rob's like, "That's for me." I'm like, "What?" He goes, "That's for me." I'm like, "All right, here you go." I answer the phone. He takes it. He's like, I don't know what. He's like, "Hello, like this is Billy." That's what he did. And it was Christy, and he got freaked out. He's like, "Oh, here you go." You know, but she, yeah, she's. I mean, she doesn't do any wrestling anymore. She doesn't do adult anymore. You know, she's just being a mom. You know, and you know, like I said, she was definitely there for me when I needed her. And you know, her little girl, I love to death. You know, both of them. You know, they're just two great people.
Okay, what about Jessica Darling?
Jessica, she's a sweetheart. She really is. I mean, she'll tell you she's a bitch. She's definitely one of those don't get in my face kind of things, you know. And she was one of the, when I worked at Extreme, she was cool. It's funny because when I first started working at Extreme, you know, the whole idea of basically like her husband is a director, directing her to have sex on film, and it's like how does he do that? How do you guys have a marriage like that? And it's just funny, because I mean, I'm still naive to the whole thing, but like, especially back then, I was really naive, and I still don't understand it. But, you know, she and both her husband, you know, I had separate conversations with both of them about it, just like, how do you do that? And, you know, she was definitely like the girl who was like, okay, you know, open my eyes to that business a little bit, and how they're able to do this and do that and everything. And she was cool. I mean, she was funny as hell. You know, she was one of the things that made the locker room fun. Because, you know, she'd just pick a fight with anybody. She didn't care if you were New Jack or somebody. She didn't care how big you were or anything like that. She'd just pick a fight with you.
All right. Well, they might not be girls, but they do wear makeup. The Insane Clown Posse.
Those guys are cool, man. I've never been a big fan of their music, you know. But when we did The Gathering, I thought that was the greatest thing in the world. I mean, they're Detroit boys like myself, so you know, I thought it was just being just being able to be on that tour with them, or to do the gathering was awesome, and have them in XPW, that was really cool because a lot of the boys were actually fans of them, so it was cool to see how they reacted to them and everything. And you know, it was I remember when we did the gathering, you know, the one thing they kept on doing was like thanking us for being there, and we're like, no, you got it all wrong. We thank you for bringing us out here, you know, because originally me, Chaos, and Joey were doing it for free. We were going out there for free. Because basically, XPW and St. Clown Posse had a deal where it's like, dude, we'll wrestle you. Well, I think it was like they'll wrestle 3 shows for free or 2 shows for free or something like that, in exchange for us or something like that. So basically, the responsibility of getting paid came down to XPW. They were supposed to pay us.
Oh.
You know, that's how I looked at it though. And then Joey and Jimmy pretty much, you know, they gathered together like, we're gonna ask these guys for money. We're not getting paid. We're gonna ask for money. I'm like, no, don't do it. It's not their place to pay us and everything. Well, they found out because Sabu was pissed off we weren't getting paid. And then finally, Violent J came up. And he's like, I heard you guys doing this for free. I'm not gonna have that. We're gonna take care of you guys. You know, and it was just awesome. We had a great time there. I hope I get to do it again. You know, it was just awesome. They had us they invited us to be part, like to go, because they had like seminars there. And they had like a seminar for kids with at the gathering for the Instant Clown Posse. And during the seminar, he's like, "Hey, you guys want to come in and just watch it?" We're like, "Yeah." So we're sitting there, and one of the kids go, "Yeah, hey, what's up with that punk ass Pogo the Clown fucking you up like that, man?" And then all 3 of us just sit down in our seats like this. And he's like, "No, we got no problem with XPW. Those guys are cool. In fact, we got 3 of their superstars and like stand up guys." And we're just like, "Oh shit." We stand
on the
up.
spot.
Yeah, we're just like, all right, you know. And it was awesome. I hope I get to do it again.
Are they still running their shows?
I think so, yeah. I mean, they just did another gathering, but, you know, I almost got on. I was this close, but they had already booked everything, you know, and did all that stuff. And hopefully, like, this year can be, you know, part of it. They always say they're going to run, like, JCW, like, tours, but, you know, they never do.
Yeah, it always falls through.
It just always falls through. So.
According to their website, they have something going on with XPW right now.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Again? Wow, I thought they had a falling out.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's like, whatever's good business, you know, maybe they just think it's good business, you know, for both. I know for a fact, if anybody who gets Insane Clown Posse, if you do it right, if you market it right, you will get a shitload of Juggalo kids there. You really, I mean, that was the scariest weekend of my life and the funnest weekend of my life because those kids take their shit seriously. Some guy was driving down the street blaring Eminem. And I just saw a swarm of kids start chasing this friggin' car. You know, it was in Toledo. They tore the city of Toledo apart. There was a Bob's Big Boy down the street. You know, they have like the little statue of Bob.
Yeah.
Dude, some kids took like a magic marker and just made a clown face on him and everything.
Oh,
you couldn't walk around without your feet like sticking to the floor because of all the Faygo that they just put everywhere. Damn. In fact, they took over. They one night we were in the hotel room, and the smoke alarm goes off. Because in the whole entire, like on one of the floors, because the kids don't have rooms. They just have enough money to get into the gathering, but they don't have rooms, so they're sleeping in the hallways, smoking, setting off the smoke detectors. And what was it, Violent J or one of them had actually and they were just being rowdy, and I felt bad because there was like this whole wedding party who came in there, and they actually, I think they woke up like Shaggy 2 Dope, the hotel like people woke him up and took him to their office so he could get on the intercom and be like, "Juggalos, this shit ain't cool. You gotta stop. It's 2 in the morning. They're gonna kick us out." You know, it was the funniest thing in the world.
Classic. All right, your thoughts on your run as the XPW champion as well as the King of Deathmatch champion?
The deathmatch. I mean, the deathmatch thing. It was cool. I mean, I didn't defend the damn belt one damn time. You know, because it was like it made no sense because I beat Supreme for it, but then I was put into a feud with Sabu, or basically put into a feud with heavyweights for the world title. So I never defended the belt one damn time. It was just stupid, sloppy booking on that, you know. I mean, maybe there was no way around it. I don't know. It was cool because I was the first one ever wore like the deathmatch belt, and that was a friggin' nice belt, heavy as hell, but it was a nice belt. You know? And then when I became world champ, I didn't agree with it only because I never beat Sabu for it. I beat New Jack for it. I mean,
yeah, what was that whole angle?
Dude, I don't know. I just worked there.
Well, what happened? Explain.
Basically, you know, Sabu pretty much busted his ass for a year defending that belt. You know, in Mexico, Japan, everywhere else in between. You know, XPW.
He got XPW lots of
Yeah, he did. You know, and he wasn't able to do the show because he had a Japan booking. And you know, Rob, and I remember this. We did Scene of the Crime, and Sabu's like, okay, well, why don't you let Masai go over on me for the belt? The next show I'll come back and beat him for it, or you know, the other show after that I'll come back and beat him for it. I'm like, no, I don't want to do that. He's like, why? Just do it. I'm not going to be here for the next show. And he's like, I don't want to do it. And I remember I'm looking at Lazy. I was like, dude, Sabu says beat him. Dude, fuck, if he's going to let me go over, dude. You know, Sabu doesn't let anybody go over on him.
Yeah.
You know, dude, let him, you know, let's do it. And he decided not to. And said they had, like, did an angle where it's like, hey, you know, hey, Lazy, guess what? You know, if Sabu doesn't defend that belt, guess it's going to get defended one way or another. So either you're going to do it or you're going to find somebody in the back to do it. Well, Lazy comes out. I beat the shit out of him. Almost go for the pin. 1, 2, 3. Music hits. It's New Jack. And me and New Jack just proceed to beat the crap out of each other. And I go over on New Jack for the belt. Okay, what the hell was that? It made absolutely no sense. I didn't agree with it at all. You know, I remember even telling Rob, I'm like, dude, I don't want to. Dude, the fans are going to shit all over this. They really are. I remember Lazy. Sabu didn't know. Lazy told me that he told Sabu like a few days after the show, and Sabu's like, so what happened to the show? He told him. He's like, yeah, Masai went over on New Jack. Oh, really? Yeah, for the belt? What? He was pissed, and he had every right to be. I mean, the guy worked his ass off trying to make it, you know, a legitimate belt, and then I just beat New Jack for it. So I mean, it was. I mean, I will say I got to defend that belt at least once against Vampiro and Sabu, so at least I defended that belt. You know, at the time it was like, you know, a great honor because the guys who had held the belt before were Candido, you know, Sabu. So I mean, it was basically, you know, legitimate guys that I got to do. I mean, now I wish I was never that company's champ. I wish I was never part of that fucking company. You know, all the company did was friggin', you know, bite me in the ass, and maybe I deserved it, maybe I didn't. I don't know. But you know, it's. You know, at the time, I thought it was a cool idea, but it was stupid because we only had 2 belts at the time, and I had both of them. You know, it was stupid, sloppy booking. That's what it was. That's exactly what it was.
Do you think that also led up to Sabu leaving XPW?
I don't know. I mean, I know it wasn't just Sabu. It was Sabu and Lazy. Rob didn't like Lazy. Lazy and him had a falling out. So they were always they always wanted an excuse to get rid of Lazy. But problem was that like Lazy was very much like Sabu's handler. He was the one who friggin' kept Sabu in check, but that's the one Sabu liked. Sabu liked having Lazy around.
Yeah, they connected.
They connected, you know. And from what I was told, I mean, the whole plan at Damage Inc., where it was supposed to be me and Rob versus Sabu and Lazy, loser leaves. Like Sabu, if Sabu and Lazy lose, then they're banished from XPW. You know, if they beat either me or Rob, they get the company and they get the belt. Well, the whole entire plan was just to get rid of Lazy. That's what it was, and to have Sabu come back doing the yellow dog gimmick, you know, where you're under a mask and hey, is that Sabu? No, it can't be Sabu. You know, of course Sabu's gonna shit on that idea.
Yeah.
You know, and that I mean that's from what I was told and from what I understand, that was the whole reason behind it. You know, I think Sabu just got fed up with it. You know. And then again, I know Sabu or Lazy and Rob were going at it, so I know Lazy wasn't talking too good about Rob, you know, and Lazy's in Sabu's ear. So I mean, it was just a volatile situation where I'm sure a lot of stuff was secondhand information, you know, with a little spin on it kind of thing. And that's what happened.
What led to your falling out between you and Rob Black?
He like I said, I owe Rob a lot. Only because literally, you know, when I needed a job, he gave me an actual job because of the fact that I'd show up at work all scarred up or gigged up from bleeding the night before, and they'd send me home. I'd go to the office. What are you doing here? I got sent home because I had to bleed last night. You know, and it's like, all right. And then finally after a show, he's like, hey, I got an opening. Do you want a job? And I'm like, yeah. And I had already kind of like inquired about maybe trying to get a job there just to feel it out. And he's like, if you want a job, you got it. I'm like, oh, cool, you know, and that's how I got my job at Extreme. You know, Rob, it's funny because I know a lot of fans or a lot of people, whoever they are like, man, Messiah owes Rob everything, yada, 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 yada. It's like, well, guess what? Rob owes me just as fucking much because of the fact of I was the one that helped make that company friggin' legit. When people, all they said it was just a bunch of backyard guys going at it. I was the one guy, like me and Chaos were like the 2 guys that were like the original freaking hometown talent that you could throw in those people's face and be like, shut up, we got guys who can work.
Yeah.
You know, I was the one that was wrestling Sabu and Candido. You know, it wasn't because there was no one else to. It's because guess what? I had the talent to do that, and you know the fans were responding to me. You know, and as far as I know, Sabu and Candido never talked bad or said I couldn't work or anything like that. And so I got the privilege of wrestling them. You know, like I said, I owe Rob, you know, stuff, but Rob owes me too because I was one of the things that helped made the company a legitimate company. You know, so it's like, I mean, it's a double-edged sword on that one. But I know the internet marks or the XPW marks can be able to find a way around it.
Yeah.
You know, and the falling out between me and Rob, I mean, at the time, I just remember the office wasn't a good place to work. I mean, there wasn't a time that didn't go by that I didn't laugh my ass off, but there wasn't a time that didn't go by that I just didn't want to beat the crap out of somebody. You know, it was just a very unorthodox office, and I just remember one day I yelled at Rob because he and I got into, we didn't even get into it. He just made a comment about, no, actually, something happened with, like, something, and I just remember I yelled, or I yelled at somebody from outside, like they were outside, and Rob walks in, he's like, why are you yelling? I'm like, what are you talking about? Why are you yelling? I'm like, I'm not yelling. He's like, well, why is everybody telling me you're yelling? I'm like, I didn't yell. I yelled outside to her because she fucking, you know, she didn't put the book back and whatever. I don't even remember what the deal was, but I just remember, I'm like, dude, I didn't yell. He's like, so you mean to tell me whoever it was is lying right now that you didn't yell? I'm like, no, I didn't yell. I'm like, no, this is me yelling. This is me yelling right now. He's like, so Dave said that Dave is lying. I'm like, yeah, he's fucking lying. I went down there to the office. I'm like, dude, I did not yell. This is me yelling right now. And I just remember looking at Rob, and Rob was just like, and he shook his head. And that weekend I was talking to Lizzie, and Lizzie's just like, Rob thinks you don't like him. And I'm like, no, I like Rob. She's like, he says all weekend he's just been like, you know, Billy doesn't like me. He doesn't like me. He just doesn't like me. And maybe I don't know what it was, but I mean, it was like I knew right then and there I could not work there anymore. I just couldn't, because I crossed the line between friend and boss, and I just yelled at him. The one guy I probably shouldn't yell at. And I had actually tried to quit XPW a week before that, and we were watching like a wrestling pay-per-view or something like that, and I walked in. You know, we'd go to his house and watch pay-per-views, and after the pay-per-view, I went out to my car and got the belts, and I said, dude, here, I need to talk to you. And I remember he's like, oh God, what's your drama? I'm like, nothing, I just need to talk to you. He's like, all right. So I go, I'm like, dude, I quit, I can't do this anymore. He's like, why? I'm like, dude, here are the belts. He's like, all right. And he looked at me, he looked at the belts, he goes, thanks, just made my job a lot easier. I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, you quit, I quit. I'm like, what are you talking about? You quit, I quit. No more XPW. Because he'd always talked about ending XPW anyway, because it wasn't making any money or anything like that, you know. And I'm like, are you kidding me? He's like, no, you quit, I quit. It's that simple. I'm like, dude, Rob, my body fucking, I'm just shot. I need some time off then. I just can't do this anymore. And he's just like, no, he's like, you quit, I quit. And I just remember like, okay, so let me get this straight. If I don't quit, then you don't quit. Yep. I'm like, oh, okay.
He's just trying to throw it all on your lap.
Yeah, I remember I told Lizzie that, and Lizzie like quit XPW like every day. and then Rob, she's like, Rob does that to me too. You know, and it was just, I just could not work there anymore. And I mean, I'm not going to go into detail, but it did have to do with Lizzie. It did have to do with Lizzie, the reason I was fired. You know, the reason I felt I couldn't work there anymore, it did have to do with her. And, you know, she, you know, at the time they were just having problems or whatever, and I was just in the wrong place at the wrong time.
No.
And, you know, pretty much a week after I yelled at him, I got fired. And
do you think he was just looking for an excuse?
No, he wasn't looking for an excuse. I'm sure, I mean, at the time I got fired, I was the heavyweight champ and the deathmatch champ, you know. And I remember I had conversations with Kevin, and I'm like, so am I doing the show or what? Damaging. And he's like, no, you're not doing it. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. I'm like, dude, the belt's never actually been lost by the person who's friggin' had it, dude. I will wrestle twice that night. He's like, dude, Billy, even if I hated your guts, I would still want you at this show. He's like, but dude, Rob's not taking any input right now. He does not want you there. And so that was it. I mean, I never took the belts home. I kept them at the office. So it's like, you know, they had the belts, and that was that. I mean, I said, dude, I'll do whatever you want. I just want to make things right. And so what they go and do, they friggin' do another thing to insult the fans' intelligence, saying I went up to heaven using Kevin Klonrock, using his voice as my voice. Oh yeah, we have a very, very similar voice, you know. And I'm just like, I remember I even told Kevin, I'm like, dude, what are you gonna do? Make it like I went to heaven? And he laughed. He went, and sure enough, that's what they freaking did.
I think they're still doing angles like this today.
Yeah, it's like I remember like when Shane first left. Shane, when he went back to WCW, Shane and Rob, they were talking about stuff, and Shane even's like, yeah, I wouldn't work out anyway. He's like, why? He's like, well, we do different angles. Shane's like, I do reality stuff. You do the hokey 80s shit. You know? And it's like, dude, I think they're trying to get out of the hokey 80s shit now. But like me going up to heaven, you know, it's like, dude, come on. And then I show up in MPW a week later, shut up.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I think the new angle they just did with, what's her name, J-Love, is that Pogo killed her. And it's like, if she's dead, how is she going to work on an indie next week?
That's the thing, Rob. The guy, Rob over at XPW, his whole thing is, we're not an indie. We're not an indie. Well, guess what, Rob? There are indies who run more shows than XPW does. I'm like, we're a friggin' indie. I remember telling him, I'm like, we are an indie. We're an above average indie, but we're an indie. Dude, he's like, well, you gotta stop thinking of it, that we're an indie. And I'm like, but we are. We're not, you know, he honestly believe, it's like this thing of, you have to have this mentality of no one watches anything else but XPW. So of course they're going to believe everything we throw at them. And it's like, that's not the case. I mean, internet screwed all that shit up. You know, you can't do anything surprising now or anything like that. And you can't do anything stupid and hokey like someone going to heaven or getting buried or anything like that. You just can't do it anymore. I mean, in fact, what did they do? They had me go up to heaven, and then Damien Steele came back from the dead. That was their big thing to friggin' take my place, to fill the void that I left supposedly or whatever. Whatever. Yeah, okay, that's fine. That's great. You know, it's just, it was stupid and hokey.
Well, that explains why I don't watch XPW. Anyways, so what was going through your mind when you left XPW? I mean, did you have any idea what you were going to do, where you were going to go?
I swear to God, to be honest with you, I was just like, this isn't happening. This is not happening, because I literally lost my job and the place I wrestled. You know, and like I said, maybe I deserved it. I don't know, but it was definitely an eye-opening. You know, I remember talking to Supreme and Chaos. I'm just like, dude, I never knew a day could be so long, because I didn't have a job. I had no place to go, and I'm just, and I moved the day I got fired. I moved to my new place. You know, and I'm just like, dude, I never knew a day could actually be this long. I was just starting to know what to do, because all I ever knew was XPW and Slammers. You know, and I tried to talk to Rob, but all I would get was, "Fuck you, you're dead in 9 days." He just threatened me, you know, and it's just like, fine, okay, whatever. And I try to talk to Lizzie, but she wouldn't. Or the one time I did try to talk to her, she's like, I can't talk to you. You know, I'm just like, all right, you know, whatever. And I mean, the guys like, I mean, Chaos and Supreme. You know, especially Chaos and even D, those guys were like, they stood by me. But, you know, it was just like, I just remember, I mean, I was really distraught. I didn't know what to do. You know, it was, but, you know, when I look at it in retrospect, it's like, dude, it was the best thing that ever happened to me. You know, a lot of people ask me how I felt about the attack, that it attacked on me. And the way I explained it to like, Gary over at Epic, I'm like, you know something? I'm like, dude, the attack, that was cake compared to how I felt when I got fired from Extreme. I'm like, dude, that was cake. I'll probably never experience the kind of like how I felt when I got fired, because I was just literally like, my family that I considered family was gone, my job was gone, everything was gone.
So you were just devastated.
Oh yeah, big time. And you know, like I said, maybe I deserved it, maybe I didn't, maybe I deserved it a little bit. I don't know. All I know is it's like, whatever it was, I took it in the ass big time, and I paid for some other people's indiscretions, and I'm like, dude, whatever. But like I said, I mean, it's the best thing that freaking ever happened to me, getting fired from that place.
How did you get involved with Combat Zone Wrestling?
I was sitting home one night, and phone rings, and I always oh, that's my phone. It's very
there you go.
No, you can get it. I just want to listen to my song. No, but Copacabana. No, basically I got a call. Like one day I'm at home, and I always screen my messages, and then this voice comes over going, "Shut up." This voice comes over saying, "This message is for Billy, aka Messiah. This is John Zendig, CZW. I'm like, what the f-? It sounded like Jake Lawless over at XPW. I thought Jake was fucking with me. And I answered the phone. I'm like, hello? He's like, is this Billy? I'm like, yeah. He's like, so you're not with that porno company anymore, huh? I'm like, no, I'm not with them anymore. He's like, all right. He's like, what are you doing this weekend? I'm like, I got a booking. He's like, oh, that's a shame. He's like, I was, thinking about maybe bringing you out. He's like, some of my boys have seen some of your work, and they said you're pretty good. And he's like, I'll be honest with you, I haven't seen anything you've done. I haven't seen anything XPW's done. He's like, I've just seen pictures in magazines. And the same goes for me. That's why I told him the same thing. All I ever saw was a picture of a weed whacker. And he pretty much said, he's like, but some of my guys have seen some of the tapes, and they've seen you work, and they said that you can work, and they're vouching for you, and that's good. And he's like, depending on how well you do this show, maybe you can be part of our permanent roster. And I was like, yeah, that's great. But I'm booked this weekend. Let me just make a phone call. Let me see what's going on. And sure enough, I just gave a call, and it was for MPW, and a guy out of the booking called John, and he called me on a Tuesday, got a hold of him on a Wednesday, and said, yeah, dude, I can do it. And I was on a plane Friday, and did the CZW show.
That was open challenge?
Yeah, against Justice Pain. And I remember it was like, I didn't know they wrestled at the ECW arena or anything like that. And
you were pretty clueless.
Yeah,
huh?
I didn't know that I didn't know that I was wrestling their champ at the time. I just thought I was coming out there for a show. I didn't know I was wrestling him. And I was just like, oh shit, here we go. And like I said, I knew nothing about CZW or anything like that. And that night I stayed at one of the boys' house, and I said, do you have any footage of Justice Pain or anything like that? He's like, yeah. So he gave me some stuff, and the first thing I watched was Cage of Death 3. And I watched that from top to bottom. And I was blown away. I was like, dude, what the hell do they want with me? I mean, the wrestling aspect alone, I was just like, dude, we never did anything like this in XPW. Never. And I remember I felt like a little fish in a big pond all of a sudden.
Kind of like starting over?
Yeah, and it very much was. I mean, like I said, by nature I'm a quiet guy. I don't, I'm the guy at a party that's in the corner just sipping on a beer or something, And that day I had to suck it up, and I went to everybody and introduced myself. Adam Flash and I joke around about it now, but I remember I'm like, what'd you first think of me? He's like, I was like, who the hell is this fucking guy? Some of those guys knew who I was, some of those guys didn't know who I was. Eric Gargiulo, the commentator for CZW, he straight out admitted to me. He's like, when he first found out I was coming in, he was like, oh god, so this is gonna blow chunks, and luckily I went out there and busted my ass, and Justice Pain and I put on a fucking decent match, and a lot of the fans liked it. John liked it. And I'm my biggest critic when it comes to matches too. I hate every match I do. And Justice Pain's the same, but from what I was told, Zandig's like, yeah, Justice Pain even liked the match. And after the match, I actually had to get 11 staples put in the back of my head because I got busted open the hard way. And I was sitting there, and I'm getting the staples, and John comes over, he looks at me, he goes, how you feeling? I'm like, all right. He's like, did good work. I'm like, thanks. Like, you want to come back next month? I'm like, yeah. All right. And cool. that was pretty much it.
So in the locker room, you were pretty much treated good by everybody?
Yeah. I mean, it's like in XPW, I always thought we had a really tight locker room in XPW. With the local guys, the names would occasionally come in. But other than that, it was a good, tight locker room. CZW locker room's way, way, way tighter. It's like, I remember walking in, I mean, basically it's a big-time fraternity, and you just don't walk in and be part of it. I was just very fortunate. I got lucky. I talked to a lot of guys and everything, and it just worked out. And some of those guys are my best friends in the world. And it's great when I can, like, the backseats can come out to California and do a show and everything, or I go back out there. It's great because, like I said, when I go to Philly, I end up staying like 3 days more. Because I go out there and I hang out with everybody and just have a great time. I mean, I'm eventually moving to Philly. So, I mean, that's when the attack thing happened, those were the guys who were just like, dude, you need anything, dude, just give us a call. I mean, it's weird because it's like a lot of people, like, ask me what's the difference between West Coast wrestling and East Coast wrestling. What's weird is, like, I didn't realize the difference between having friends on the East Coast and having friends on the West Coast. It's a completely different thing. I mean, in my experience, the friends I have on the East Coast, dude, it's just one of these, like, I'll die for you kind of things. All those guys have stepped up to the plate.
More true to their word.
Yeah, big time, and it's just, like I said, all those guys. I mean, I fucking on my keychain, I have like one of those stupid little gay things you get from Magic Mountain. With a little eyeglass with me b-boy in the backseats all fucking around. It's just, it's just, it's awesome being there. I remember it's funny because like some fan keeps on making cookies. I don't know who it is. Some fan always gives us cookies, and basically we'll eat them, you know. But then all of a sudden we'll look at each other. It's like lock and load. We get them. The next person that comes through that door, we're nailing them with it. And usually it's the ring announcer Dennis Shock who walked in. Dude, he gets hit with like 40 some odd cookies at the same time. I mean, I've never been in a locker room that's playful like that. But at the same time, it's like, dude, you just don't. You come in, we fuck around with each other. It's very much that family atmosphere of, you know, I get to mess with you, but if this guy over here messes with you, he has all of us on his ass.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Do you feel that there was anyone at all in the locker room that maybe didn't trust you because of your association in the past with XPW?
No. I mean, I never had that. A lot of guys, when I came in, you know, I was sitting there like, you're Messiah, right? I'm like, yeah. They're like, oh, you're good. I'm like, oh, thanks, man, thanks. And like I said, I mean, I watched Cage of Death 3, you know, and that was the show right before accepting the challenge. Right, the show before accepting the challenge that I did. So it was just like, dude, no, you guys are freaking awesome, man. I mean, I'm in awe of everything you guys do, and
they have come a long way.
Yeah. Like I said, I mean, make jokes about it, but it's like, dude, all I knew was about a weed whacker.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, it took me quite a while to get into their stuff.
Yeah, but just the pure wrestling aspect of it alone, I mean, I think it blows everything out of the water. I mean, I know in XPW never did anything like that, nothing like that. So it was like, I don't think anybody in that locker room was ever very apprehensive towards me or anything like that, or couldn't trust me. But you know, it's definitely like, dude, just because you're an XPW doesn't mean shit to us. Half those guys didn't even know what XPW was. They're just like, dude, whatever. You're that Fed on the West Coast trying to be like us, okay?
So what was your first impression of John Zandig?
Dude, first time meeting him, intimidating guy, man, big guy. You know, you don't want to mess with John Zandog. You know, you don't want to mess with him. You know, and he you know, he definitely, you know, he takes care of his own. I mean, the guy makes no money on CZW, virtually no money. He does it for the love of it. I mean, I remember I was just watching him when we did the Tournament of Death, and it's like me, Backseats, Adam Flash, Wife Beater. We're all just like watching the matches, and then I think Trent started breaking Wife Beater's balls. He's like, dude, I saw you go out there doing your death match, awesome, dude. Dude, basics are coming back, right? You know, fucking, you know, drop down, hip toss, and then Wife Beater's like, dude, yeah, it's all coming back to me, man. Dude, I don't need to do this death match. You know, it was the funniest thing. I just see John in the corner, and John's just staring over, just smiling and laughing. You know, under his breath. He's not part of the conversation, but he hears it. But he's just laughing, you know. I think he gets it honest. He really feels good that, you know, he has all these guys that he can trust and everything, and that he's actually allowing a lot of these guys to fulfill their dream of, you know, so a lot of the guys got to go to Japan, you know, Mexico.
CZW has really pushed a lot of guys that have gone all over.
Yeah, so I mean, it's you know, he's virtually started a company that was basically run out of his backyard kind of thing, that's running in one of the most famous arenas or bingo halls, whatever you want to call it, in the world. Yeah. You know, and dude, no one, I mean, let's face it, XPW went out there, couldn't friggin' do shit out there. CZW does it, and as a company, it's a bunch of nobodies. We're a bunch of nobodies, and we outdrew the company with all the somebodies.
Yeah.
You know, so I think, you know, it's just that right there shows you the kind of product that it has. It's the product speaks for itself. You know, I think CZW is very much like ECW, where it's like the fans, sure, they got their favorites and who they want, you know, they like, but when it comes down to it, they're there for the friggin' CZW.
For the overall product.
Yeah, case in point, Justice Pain goes to XPW. What did it hurt the fan base or the attendance of CZW at all? No. All it did was lighten XPW's friggin' pockets. That's all it did. You know, that's why it's not one individual wrestler who really runs the show there. It's the whole company. Everybody's there for the company. I mean, the fans go there for the company. That's the one thing I think XPW has to realize. It's not about who you got.
Yeah.
It's about your overall product.
The name means something.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and unfortunately, XPW puts a bad taste in a lot of people's mouth. It really, really does. Even when I was there, you know, and not to say CZW doesn't, because I know CZW makes a lot of people freaking sick, you know, when they hear the name. But, you know, it's like, dude, the fans show up for the overall CZW, for the overall product, not for a certain guy.
Yeah.
You know?
Not one name that's going to bring in the house.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, after your Open Challenge match, your debut in CZW, after that you started feuding with Adam Flash. Can you elaborate on the matches with him?
They suck. No, they were good. They were, I love Flash. I mean, the guy's been in the business for like 11 or 12. Well, if you talk to Gargiulo, he has like a year every month, so he's like probably up to 20 years now or something. But no, he's been in the business for like 11 or 12 years. The guy was doing like matches on WCW Saturday Night. You know, you want to talk about like a road dog. I mean, the guy's traveled everywhere and anywhere. You know, and I was looking really forward to wrestling. He's one of the big dogs in the locker room. You know, he's one of the old heads. So he literally, you know, it's like a lot of guys, you know, are just like, dude, they test you when they finally wrestle you. That's when they'll realize if they actually want to give you the time of day after they wrestle you. And I guess I won Adam Flash over, and you know, I became Rachi Saya. So, you know, because they're him and Danny Rose and another guy, they're the Rachis, and I got to become the Rachi Saya. So it's awesome. And he was one of those guys when everything happened to me. He called me on the phone. He's like, "You need anything, dude? You give me a call." You know, I go out to Philly. It's like, "What are you doing? Where are we going, dude?" You know, and we hang out and everything. He came out here last year. You know, and I hung out with him. I didn't even go to work for a week. I was with him the whole entire time in California. You know, goofing off. So I mean, he's the matches I had with that first initial match I thought was really good. I thought he really liked it. He's like me. You know, he hates everything he does. And you know, he's one of my best friends. You know, so I mean, it's I'm very, you know, like I'm all about learning wrestling somebody I can learn from. He's definitely one of those guys.
He's helped you a lot.
Yeah.
Okay, from there, then you did some matches involving Sick Nick Mondo as well as Justice Pain with a lot of three-way dances and four-way dances.
Which I hate those, by the way, but okay.
Well, give us your feelings on those.
Oh no, like three-way matches, they're just clusterfucks. Four-way matches is even bigger clusterfuck. There you go.
I believe most of those were title matches, were they?
Yeah. Well, me and Mondo, I like wrestling Mondo because it's like, dude, he's up for anything and I'm up for anything. When Mondo and I get in the ring, you know, it's pretty much you're gonna get your money's worth. You know, Mondo's a great guy. He comes up with some pretty innovative stuff and everything. And you know, when we did a three-way. It was me, Mondo, and Payne at last year's Best of the Best 2 or 3 or whatever it was. And you know, it was an alright match. But you know, it was just filler. That match was just filler for the overall juniors and everything. But you know, it was alright. I mean, we did the high stakes match where me, Mondo, Justice Pain and Flash, we went to like a 54-minute draw or whatever it was, 54 minutes, and that was exhausting. But you know, that was a good match as well, I thought. Mondo, I mean, he's a good guy. I mean, the guy. It's funny because the guy's all about making movies, man. That's what he wants to. He wants to make movies. So he's doing the wrestling thing because it's fun to do.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So it's like I mean, I enjoy wrestling. I mean, he takes some of the sickest stuff you've ever seen, though. But you know, like when he and I did the match in Epic, you know, I thought Pain and Suffering. You know, I thought that was a great match, and you know, he was happy with it. Like I said, I mean, I always enjoy wrestling Mondo. You know, you're gonna get your money's worth when he and I lock up.
Yeah, he had a good time when he was out here.
Yeah. He's a cool guy. Really cool guy.
Okay, now this some time had passed, a few months. You had already been in CZW, and things been going good. Then all of a sudden, you get this big attack on you.
Mm-hmm.
I believe it was in the summer of 2002.
Yeah.
Can you elaborate a little bit on that and exactly what happened?
Basically, what happened was I was at home playing video games. I just bought a GameCube, so I was all into it. And I was playing it, and my roommate came home, and I lived with 2 other people. I lived with a guy and a girl. My best friend at the time, like I knew him for like 11 years, Kyle, and his girlfriend. And she came home, and I was playing video games. She came home, she went to go walk out the dog, and then she forgot something. She came right back in. As soon as she came right back in, the door closes, but then the door opens and 2 guys walk in, or two black guys walk in. And I turn around. I'm like, hey, what's up? And they even said, hey, what's going on, man? And they proceed to walk down to the end of the apartment, and then they're right next to the hallway. And then Michelle walks back up, and she walks in between both of them. She looks up at them like this. She goes, hi. And then right then and there, I knew something was wrong because she didn't know who they were. I thought they were with her because her godparents are black. Her godsister is black. Her godbrother is black. She hangs out with them all the time, you know. So it's like that's why I thought they were with her, and I thought they were like with her godbrother or something like that. But she just looks up at him and goes, hi. I was like, oh damn. And then so I just wanted her to get out of the house because as soon as she did that, I knew why they were there and what they were there to do.
You just sensed it.
Oh yeah, I knew it, and I turned my back. We had a big screen TV, and I can see the reflection. She goes out the door, close the door, and the big screen TV. I can see them going like this. And I'm like, you get them, no, you get them. And
real organized.
Oh yeah, totally. And so I was like this, and then one of them went to lock the door, and I jumped up, or I didn't jump up, but I turned around, and they both jumped me. And you know, it was just one. It was just, proceeded to brawl, and and one of them pinned me down, got me down, and the other one was on top of me, and then all of a sudden I saw a pair of gardening shears, and put it right around my thumb, and just snipped it, and one just popped right off. And I mean, I kick myself in the ass every day because I could have taken my hand away. I really could have. I know I could have. But for some reason, for some reason I don't know. I mean, people make excuses for me saying it was the shock and whatever. I mean, I could have taken my hand away and I didn't.
Maybe you didn't believe it was really happening.
Maybe, but I know I could have taken my hand away. I know I could have. And then they went for my other hand, but I kept it in a fist, and they started pounding on my fist, trying to make me open it. And I started throwing elbows to get them off me. And they're just like, "Come on, dude, stay down, stay down." What's funny is I don't even know why I was doing it. I'm like, "Why are you doing this?" I was even saying that. "Why are you doing this?"
Yeah, was there talking going on during this?
I mean, just me saying, "Why are you doing this?" And I would yell, and I yelled, "Help!" And then what happened was they went for my other thumb. I had it, started pounding it. Then they went for my belt and like tried to flip me over or something like that. Now this is where everybody's like, "Oh, he didn't get his dick cut off or whatever." Okay, basically the original people were saying was that they tried to cut off cut off my dick. Mm-hmm. Well, I'm like, okay, first of all, because somebody even said I had my pants down to my ankles. I'm like, dude, I didn't even have my pants down to my ankles. They went for my belt, and the guy was tugging on my belt. And this is exactly what I told the detectives and everything. They was tugging for my belt. You know, whether or not he was going for it, I don't know. But he was definitely going for something around there, whether it was like to flip me over or something. But
maybe
he was
to get a grip on you.
Get a grip, or I don't know. But he was going for it, you know. And I was able to get up. I threw an elbow, and somehow, some way, I was able to crawl over to the door, and I went to go unlock the door, and I couldn't because I didn't have my thumb. So I was just swatting at it. I was swatting at the lock, and I couldn't open it. And the guy got a hold of me, and he threw me down. And he's like, "Just stay down, stay down." And he's like, just be quiet, don't move, stay down. And I got up, and that's when they got like the fish tank or the fish bowl, and hit me over the head with it. And I could tell right then and there, like these guys had no idea what they were really doing, or they expected something easy and simple because it didn't knock me out.
They maybe thought you were going to be so scared that you're just going to take it. Or
Yeah. And I started to get back up, and they got the dining room chair, hit me with the dining room chair. And I was still getting up, and they're like, "Dude, just stay down."
They were getting frustrated.
Just stay, yeah. They were just stay down. And I mean, I even told the detective this. They came in there expecting some scared white guy just to like be the easiest thing in the world, and that didn't happen. And they got on top of me again, and I was throwing elbows or whatever. And something happened. This is where it's kind of fuzzy. Where one of them threw a punch, I think, and I got a hold of his arm and tried to hyperextend it. Either I got thrown into the actual dining room table, or I pushed one of them in the dining room table. But something happened where like it got knocked into it, and I was able to crawl back over to the door. And I started swatting at the lock again, and somehow I got away from both of them again. I started swatting at the lock and was able to get it open, and I opened the door, and the door flew open, and they ran out. The one thing everybody's saying, like I read in some magazine where they're like, "Yeah, his screams are what helped him." My screams didn't help me. I freaking opened that door. Yeah, did I scream for help? Better believe I did.
Yeah.
But dude, what got them off me was the fact that I was able to get them off me and get to the door and open the door. And they just ran out.
So you didn't run out, they ran out.
They ran out. And I remember, and then I got on my knees and I ran out down the stairs, and I started yelling for help right then and there. And I just remember I was holding my hand like this. And one of the witnesses said that one of them, the guys, I did something to one of them, had his arms up in the air and he was screaming. I mean, I don't know what that is. And then, I went downstairs, and I started yelling help, and I had my hand, and I remember yelling, "They cut off my fucking thumb!"
Pissed off.
Yeah, and then I ran back upstairs to go get a cup of ice and put my thumb in it, but I knew they took it, and so I get the ice, and I'm looking, and because of the fish tank, there's little rocks everywhere, so I'm looking. Finally, I walk back outside, and I just collapsed. My neighbor from downstairs came up, and then like. Right then and there, that's when the paramedics, fire department, sheriff, the whole cavalry just came after that.
Loss of blood? Is that maybe why?
I don't know.
Exhaustion?
I think it was just exhaustion. I don't think it was loss of blood. I mean, there was a lot of blood, because I mean, my thumb was just squirting. It's like what you see in the movies. It was squirting. And then they took me to the hospital and fixed me up, and that was pretty much it. And it's like I told the sheriff, yeah, because I love there's certain people that are just like, dude, it was a random attack. Yeah, okay, then why the hell did they take my thumb?
Yeah, they needed
They
evidence.
they didn't take one piece of equipment in that. There was a DVD player. There was all kinds of crap. They didn't take anything, and they just happened to go in my neighborhood.
Exactly.
You know, it's just like, dude, some people are just so delusional that they don't want to believe certain people have anything to do with anything. But it's like, dude, they took my thumb. They took it. I remember someone said on the internet that it was like homeless people or something like that. I lived in a Jewish community or something like that. It was a bunch of and it's rampant with homelessness. And so I got assaulted on the street corner, and they cut off my thumb, because apparently thumbs go big on the black market or something like that. It's just stupid, idiotic stuff like that. And like I said, I mean, it's like when I went to, I mean, I was literally out of the hospital like that the next morning, and what's weird is that, like, out of all my family, I'm the only one that lives in California, or at the time lived in California, and what's ironic, and this is why, I mean, I have a very strong belief in God, and I don't believe things happen. There's no such thing as luck. There's no such thing as accidents. I honestly believe things happen for reasons. There are reasons things happen, whether they're good or bad, and it's ironic because, like, the week before, I was at Lake Havasu with Christy and my parents and just hanging out, and we're just having a great old time. And like I said, my parents and all my family, they live back east in Michigan and in Georgia. That particular weekend that week when everything happened to me, my sister was in town. My family was only in Lake Havasu, which is only like 4 or 5 hours away. So I mean, it just one of those times where all the stars aligned, and my family was there to be with me. And they kept me in the hospital. My parents came. You know, they checked up on me, and it was funny because the next day I moved out of my place. I got all my crap and moved out. And I remember my stepmother's looking at me. She's like, "You're like Superman." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" She goes, "How can you be up and walking around?" I'm like, I just can. You got to remember what I do. I mean, it's my body's used to taking a punishment, because I mean, when everything happened, the whole right side of my face was swollen. This eye was swollen shut. My lip was swollen. This was just all bruised. And I mean, as a result of everything happened, I had to, my thumb got cut off. I had to get the stitches in the thumb and everything. They had to do this weird thing and my sister was right there watching it. And it's funny. I don't know if it's funny, but I was freaking a lot of my friends out because they come in the hospital room. They're like, "How you doing?" And I'm like, "Hey, thumbs up." You know, and they're just looking at me and they're like, "That's not funny." You know, I have a weird way I deal with things. And they actually came in, and the doctor looked, pretty much told me that they explained to me what they got to do. And so basically they had to go in there and actually like saw the bone down in order to do it. So I'm sitting there, and I'm laying there, and my sister's just watching him do it, you know. And they were all, I mean, my family was just all freaked out. You know, my friends, or my childhood friends, were all freaked out. And the next day, I mean, I was up walking around. The swelling went down at least 70. I mean, it was all the way down. I just had the bruises, and my eye was just all bloodshot. And they just couldn't believe how well I just, I recovered from it, you know. And like to this day, it's like, dude, I don't really talk about it, you know. Because there's certain people, like certain friends that they're just the talkers. Like, do you want to talk about anything?
Yeah.
You want to talk it out? No, I'm fine.
Yeah.
You sure? Yeah, I'm fine. You want to go to see a psychiatrist? No, I'm good. I'm fine. You know.
Well, we hate to bring it up again. We just wanted to get it straight from your mouth.
Oh no,
it's so many stories.
Yeah, I mean, it's like Vic Grimes told me a story that he heard, basically saying that I lived with a black couple, and I was cheating, or that I was getting with the girl that I lived with. And I dumped her for another black girl, and so she got mad, and so her husband sent 2 guys after me. I'm like, Vic, where the hell did you hear this? It's like, I'm just like, you know, pretty soon, sooner or later, you know, originally I'm getting pissed off because I'm hearing the wrong stuff, but sooner or later, all you can do is just laugh. Like me living in a Jewish community home or something like that, overrun by homelessness. I'm like, where the hell would you even come up with this? And all you can do, you can't be mad at somebody like that. You can just be like...
Laugh at their stupidity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just unbelievable. Because, I mean, as a result of what happened, I had to get... Like, one of the guys bit me on the neck. You know, I had to get stitches in the back of my... Because dude, to bite me, bit me on the freaking neck. You know, and then I got stabbed in the leg, and I had to get stitches in that. My back had something on it, had a laceration on it, too. You know, it was just... it was just you know, it was just unbelievable, and you know, it was I mean, the people that helped me get through it were honest to God, were my family, Gary App and Haley and everything, and you know, the guys over in CZW. Those were the guys. You know, and I freaked out a lot of people because I wasn't crying on shoulders or anything like that. I'm just not that type of person. I just can't do that. That's how the way I deal with stuff is that I harbor it, then one day I'm going to unleash it on somebody.
Yeah.
That's how I deal with stuff.
Getting back to the thumb and why they took the thumb, obviously they needed evidence for somebody, for something. Now, comment or no comment, it's up to you. Do you have any idea at all why?
Why they took the thumb, or
why
it
it happened?
This is why and everybody pretty much knows who I think did it. Like I said, one, I got a call from Webb warning me to watch myself.
Yeah, you stated that earlier.
Okay. Why the hell would I, you know, whatever. The reason I was told that everything happened to me had nothing to do with Lizzie. And I even said this. This had nothing to do with Lizzie. It had nothing to do with her or anything like that. I could care less about that friggin' bitch. I really, it had nothing to do with her. I was told the reason something happened was because I embarrassed somebody.
You disrespected somebody.
I disrespected somebody. And by embarrassing them, is it because I showed up to a certain show and things didn't go planned. And basically, during that show, no one gave a shit about a certain match. They started throwing beach balls around. A fan came in and tried to jump Rob.
Wasn't he drunk?
Oh, yeah,
or all
drunk
drugged out or something?
Yeah. You know, the fans shit all over this big match, the big return of a certain, you know, of Shane Douglas. And basically, Rob was embarrassed in front of Shane Douglas. And who did he friggin' blame it all on? Me. Because I was at the show, so I must have friggin' sent the drunk fan in there. I must have invited I must have got the crowd to start chanting beach ball and throw a beach ball around.
I heard the crowd even got hot when the beach balls were popped.
Yeah, and I was there, and dude, I will, and I don't care anybody over at that office. You look at that whole entire show. Show me if you even see me, because I'm up in the friggin' nosebleed section, away from everybody. You know, I wasn't mingling around trying to get noticed. I went there just to see a show, and I didn't even want to go to the show originally. Friggin' Smiley Johnson or GQ Money said, because I was over at Dee's house like the week before, or that, was it the week before or something like that? Yeah, and talking, and Smiley's or GQ Money's over there joking about how, dude, yeah, I'll go to the show, you know, whatever, because Chaos, you know, some of those guys would always ask me to go to shows. I'm like, I can't go, you know I can go. And Smiley's like, dude, no, you can go here. He gave me the friggin' passes. He gave me the free passes to get in. You know? And so it was like basically I was told everything happened because someone got disrespected, or because I made someone look like a chump. That's what and it's funny because it's mind-boggling to me, because basically 2 guys got sent to my house because someone can't handle his own shit. He doesn't know how to be a man and just stand up and be like, dude, we got problems.
He needed somebody to blame.
Yeah, exactly. And basically, it's like, it's just funny because it's like, basically, I got my thumb cut off because someone got embarrassed. That's pretty much what it was. Someone got embarrassed and he needed a scapegoat to pin it on.
Pretty brutal. People are embarrassed every day, but...
No, exactly. People are embarrassed every day. But it's like, dude, I mean, the way I was brought up, you handle your own. You handle it, you know. In this day and age, unfortunately, you know, you fight one guy, you get 10 of his guys and 10 of his buddies on your back. No one does anything by themselves anymore.
Yeah.
I just come from that kind of mentality of take care of your own shit. You know? But, I mean, it's like I said, it's done, it's over with, and you know, they'll be getting theirs soon enough. So
after this attack, you had your comeback, I believe it was at Zandig's Tournament of Death.
Yeah.
You got a great response, great pop, lots of signs in the audience. How was the support from the crowd at that show?
It was unbelievable, because I remember I talked to John, and I'm like...
Because it was a surprise, right?
Yeah, yeah.
You weren't promoted on the show.
No, it wasn't promoted or anything like that. I remember I told... I was talking to Zandig on the phone. I'm like, dude, I want to be at the show. And he's like, you sure? I'm like, yeah, I want to go to the show. And he's like, okay. He's like, and I'm the one who said, yeah, I'll wrestle. He's like, okay. You know, and it was that easy. And I went there, and we did, you know, he came up with the whole angle of getting me in the tournament. And it was funny because I just let the music play. I was milking it. I was just milking it. And people were like, who the hell is this guy? Who's coming out right now? And I ran out there, and then, you know, me and Flash square off. We do our little quick thing, And
Squash.
Yeah, the squash, and it was awesome that the fans just went apeshit for it. You know, it was great, and people. I remember one guy's like, "Welcome back," and then the other guy's like, "Nice to see you back so soon." Well, okay. You know, there was one guy in the crowd that was like, "Fuck you, Messiah." I'm like, dude, come on. But you know, that guy actually.
Maybe that guy didn't know what happened.
Oh no! What's funny is the guy came up to me after. He's like, "Oh, I didn't know. I just thought you were with XPW."
Oh really?
That's what he
there
said.
You go.
So, but I mean, other than that, it was good. I mean, you know, it's you know, a lot of people called me a crazy bastard for doing it, but you know, it's basically that's, you know, it was a nice little like fu to everybody who thought I'd be gone or thought they were gonna get rid of me or anything like that.
Well, you
know?
proved that you weren't gonna stay down.
Yeah, and it was like I said, I got to hang out with my buddies, and the show was at a bar, so that was even better. So it was I mean, it was awesome. You know, I loved it, and you know, it was just. Plus that was like when XPW did their first show at the arena, so it was like, you know, I kind of wanted to like do the show with CZW on the same day kind of thing. I was like, dude, fuck it, I'm gonna show everybody that I can still wrestle, I can do what I want and everything. My hand was all taped up and everything, and it was you know, it was good, it was fun. I mean, I had a good time doing it, and it was very surreal, just like the fan support and everything and whatnot. So.
Also, here in California, Epic did a benefit show for you. How was that?
That was great. Again, that was really overwhelming. I remember when the attack happened, I called Gary the next day because I finally had my cell phone, and I saw that he had called, and I knew exactly why he called, because he needed me to do a promo for his TV show. And of course I couldn't do it, but I called him, and I just pretty much said, dude, I can't wrestle for you anymore. And he's like, well, what's wrong? I'm like, dude, I can't. Something happened. And he's like, what? And I told him, and he got upset. I think he took it harder than I did, and he ended up. You know, I called him, or he called me again. He's like, so how you doing? I'm like, I'm fine. I'm fine. He's like, how you gonna pay? You got any bills? I'm like, I remember, I'm like, well, I got my Visa bill, and I got. He's like, no, medical. I'm like, oh.
Yeah. Did you have insurance or anything?
No, I didn't have any insurance or anything like that, and you know, that was definitely a case of my dad going, see, I told you.
I told you so.
You know, and
that's the wrestling business.
Yeah, and but he's like, no, he's like, he's like, we'll do a benefit. I'm like, dude, you don't have to do a benefit. He's like, no, we'll do one. I'm like, dude, you don't have to. And he ended up, I mean, he took it upon himself to bring in like guys who that I was close to. He brought in Flash, you know, the back seats.
Now, did Gary pay for all these gentlemen to come in?
Yeah, he did. I mean, and all those guys kindly, you know, gave up their payday. You know, and those guys, I mean, they're just happy to be in California, you know.
Yeah.
But you know, it was like, you know, he brought in all those guys, and just to make me feel comfortable. Like I said, I mean, you know, when everything happened, I realistically didn't have a place to go. I didn't. I mean, the plan for me was to go back to Georgia, and I just said, screw that. I'm not running. I'm not going to run. I refuse to run. You know, this is my life. I'm not going to run. And you know, I was able to find a place and everything. But you know, anytime I needed any place to go to, or I needed a place to sleep, or anything, or just needed a place to hang out, dude, both Haley and Gary were right there. It's like, dude, this is your home. You know, I'd play with their kids. You know, he's like, this is your home. Don't ever think this is not your home. So I mean, I owe a lot to them. You know, I mean, I felt bad because I would have likened to have done my first match for Epic back, but you know, friggin' Gary was lagging on doing a friggin' show. It's like, come on, you know, and I was getting the bug. I'm just like, well, let's do it. And Gary understood that because I felt bad. I'm like, you do benefit show for me, and you know, I'm doing my first show for CZW, but he understood it. I mean, I really, you know, he's just like, yeah, go do it. He's like, dude, have fun, you know. He called me during it. He's like, dude, you doing okay? I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. Because I refer to Gary and Haley very much like I call them mom and dad, because they both break my balls about stupid stuff all the time. You know, when everything happened, Gary, you know, Gary's like, where are you at? I'm like, what are you talking about? Where are you at? You okay? Everything fine? Yeah, I'm fine. Jeez. Haley's like, did you
checking
eat?
Up on you?
Oh yeah. Haley's like, did you eat? You okay? Yeah, I'm fine. Jeez. You know, so I mean, I owe a lot to them, and I owe a lot to John. You know. So I mean, it was, you know, it was awesome just being able to both the benefit show and you know, the first match back in CZW, you know, because it was cool doing the benefit show. I got on the mic, and Gary was like, dude, I wonder if you're gonna cry. I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, I wonder if you're gonna cry when you go out there. I'm like, I ain't gonna cry. You know, and sure enough,
he wanted to get all emotional.
Yeah, dude, that's, you know, we could sell so much if you get emotional. I'm like, okay, but you know, I just, you know, I went out there, said what I had to say. America's Most Wanted was there doing their thing and everything. So it was good. I mean, I owe a lot to Gary.
Okay, well, we're winding down a little bit here, but you are now the CZW champion. And did you win that at Cage of Death 4 or a different event?
Oh, I won the world title the first time at High Stakes. That was a 64 minute.
Yeah, I'm talking about the next time.
And then the next time, yeah, that was a Cage of Death,
Okay.
Death 4 against Justice Payne.
And that was in December.
Yeah. And
you're currently still the champion.
Yeah, still currently champion. That match was a little bit overwhelming only because it was like, dude, that was like the biggest show of the year and everything. And
Did you know going into that match that you were going to come out champ?
Yeah, I knew that. I already knew that. And they put the Iron Man belt on me, and I'm like, dude, this is like XPW all over again.
Getting all the straps?
Yeah, I'm just like, oh, God. And, but, you know, it worked out for the best. And, you know, it was actually, I mean, what a lot of people don't know is, like, Justice Payne is the guy who pretty much got me in CZW. He's the one who saw the tape. He's the one that suggested to John to bring me in.
He wanted to work with you.
Yeah. Because I think originally the guy that was supposed to be a Clifton Challenge was Sabu. And Sabu, something didn't work out, and so I was like a last-minute replacement. And so, you know, we did the match, and it was good. We were the last one. Of course, like, John and Lobo do the Cage of Death match, the first match on the card.
Yeah.
So, you know, but, you know, he and I, and dude, when I went over, you know, they rang the bell for the 3 count, I mean, the place just went apeshit. It was great. I mean, I loved it. You know, it was awesome.
And then Justice Payne is no longer with the company. Did anyone have any idea that some of the guys were going to jump ship?
I was surprised by Josh and Matt, or by M-Dog 20 and Josh Prohibition. I really was surprised by that. And Justice Payne, not so much surprised about. Like a lot of us, you know, he always felt that he was very Hollywood, you know, lack of a better word, you know, kind of thing. And I never personally had any beef with him or any problem with him. He was always a cool guy. We were really cool with each other. I just remember the last show we did at the arena before XPW took over the lease. We're there and we're watching something. Oh, we were watching the backseat to make fun of Josh Prohibition and M-Dog 20. and I look at him and I'm like, hey, does XPW talk to you? And he's chewing on like a little thing from his hood. I was like, huh? No, they don't. No. I was like, oh, okay. All right. And then I get a call, or I'm talking to John, and John's like, oh, you want to hear the news now or later? I'm like, what? He's like, guess who just went to XPW? And I went, Justice Payne. He's like, yep, how'd you know? I'm like, dude, I'm like, John, I'd like to say I'm surprised, but I'm not. You know, and I know it's maybe a hard blow to John because that's one of his kids, you know.
Yeah, he started there.
Yeah, he basically, like, John has his kids. Rick Blade, you know, Nick Gage, Justice Payne, I think even Lobo, you know, and Whitebeater, those are like his kids kind of thing. Those are the kids who started everything with him pretty much. And, you know, basically his kid left. And, you know, you know, and then, you know, you can have the argument of Justice Payne did everything he could in CZW anyway. You know, he won all the belts, you know, everything. He pretty much ran his course there. It was good, you know, change of pace for him. You know, the way he did it was really, really unprofessional.
Yeah, I think that's where all the heat comes from.
Even Josh Prohibition and M-Dog 20. I mean, they even like, hey, we'll see you next show. They even said that, you know. And then
they denied it.
Yeah, it's just like, dude, like Justice Payne. What's funny is he did a promo for XPW to show out in Philly on the TV show, but someone's like, I'm like, well, dude, they at least had to friggin' do it a week before. Then someone's like, no, they need to get that tape to the whatever 3 weeks before. So basically, okay, let's say he did it a week before. He waited until the day that it was going to air to call John and tell him, hey, I'm going to XPW.
Yeah, that's not cool.
You know, but it's like I said, I mean, dude, you know, I wish those guys the best. You know, bleed as much money out of that company as you can while it's still around. That's what I tell everybody. You know, it's like, dude, go do your thing. You know, I think Justice Payne leaving actually made it better for CZW because as a result of him leaving, we didn't have any heels at the top anymore. So I turned heel, and then joined the back seats, and then we got B-Boy, and now we're high five. We're a heel stable now, which that never would have happened if Justice Payne was there.
It would have been the same old stuff.
It would have been the same stuff going on, you know. So I think him leaving was a great thing. It really was. It livened up, you know, the roster a little bit, livened up, you know, the storylines a little bit. So, and the fans seemed to be really into it because that was their biggest complaint, that everything was stale.
Yeah.
You know. So it was you know, like I said, I think him leaving was good. Like Josh Prohibition and M-Dog 20, them leaving didn't really hurt us at all. You know. So I mean, it's just, like I said, like XPW, their whole thing is like taking these guys, thinking that they're going to bring these people, these fans.
Yeah.
When realistically, people are there to see the product, not an individual person. Sure, everybody has their favorites, but they're there to see the product.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah,
so
that's their way of thinking, that they're just going to buy talent and it's going to provide seats. You know?
Exactly, and it just doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way.
Well, I think we're winding down here in closing. Is there anything you want to say that we haven't gone over?
No, I mean,
to your fans?
No, just, you know, to them, it's like, you know, without those guys, I really wouldn't be here, you know, whether they like me or dislike me, it's you know, you still come to see me, you know, and you know, I think right now, like CZW, I think it's on, you know, it's on a you know, a course where it's only going to get bigger and better. It really, really is.
And they're back at the arena.
Yeah, back at the arena, and it's you know, it's awesome, and you know, I got a bunch of like emails and cards and everything when the whole attack happened, so it was just, you know, that you know, that showed me that, you know, I had more fans than I actually thought I did. But you know, it was like I even got letters from fellow workers, you know, so it was just it was really overwhelming, and I appreciate every single one of those, and you know, hopefully I'll keep on doing this as long as my body allows me to do it.
All right. Well, we thank you very much for sitting down, taking the time to do this interview for us. It is the first actual official interview here for the AWS and company. So we appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Oh, no problem. Thanks, man. I had a good time doing it.
All right. We'll see you next time.
I did.
From Detroit, Michigan, Mike Earhart. Hombre de Oro!
Can get down hardcore if he wants to. And he plays fair. Always.
And he does have experiences in ladder matches, which is why he is the favorite in this matchup. That and the fact that he is the champion.
Weighing in at 215 pounds and is going to the ring by SoCal Val. He is the future Frankie Kazarian.
And the future Frankie Kazarian is being accompanied to the ring by SoCal Val, which is very lovely ladies. And look, they got matching outfits.
A little bit too skinny for my preference, but a lot better than some of these ugly women around here.
I know you like them, man. Future Frankie Kazarian is going to prove tonight that he is the future of professional wrestling. So wait a minute, back here with us.
I gotta say, he is an excellent, excellent wrestler. This song is gay.
Put that in his bio right there. Sing the song.
Those words. One more thing since I'm over here. I don't know how old she is, but she is fine as all hell.
Those words from the promoter of AWS, Mark Kapinski.
Hey, I think Bart's been with that double shot guy in the back there, had a couple.
Maybe he did. But he's saying what we're thinking.
See, man, if you get like a 180-pound woman in that skirt, bam!
Yeah, but I don't think you can fit a 180-pound woman.
But you could try.
You could try, but it's going to be very difficult.
You could try, man.
Oh, wait a minute. First of all, he's got the mic.
Come on, out here from the hairdo.
My lovely ballet for this evening, Valerie. Now, Valerie, you could have picked any one of those wrestlers in the back to escort to the ring tonight, but you chose Frankie Kazarian. Now, why don't you throw all these people
$10 down, man.
What are you talking about?
What's wrong with you? That's disrespectful. Come on now.
What are you talking about?
Kazarian is the coolest person in the world.
Is that true, Larry?
I don't know. How much do you think he paid her to say that?
I argue if I could.
Well,
now, I hate to break the bad news to you, but there will be no ladder match this evening.
What?
oh, he could change things like that?
Frankie Kazarian's gonna win, but it will not be a ladder match. You see, I'm a professional wrestler. I'm not a roofer. I do not paint houses. I don't need a ladder in my line of work.
Don't you need a ladder in your line of work, Larry, sometimes?
I do not need
You know, like when you service call people?
a weapon like a ladder to defeat the Messiah. The only weapon I need to defeat the Messiah is my wrestling talent, my wrestling skills, my wrestling mojo.
His wrestling mojo?
Let the man talk. We're talking over.
Because I am the future, and the future looks good.
You got a point there.
What? The future looks good.
The future looks good.
Well, yeah, if the future is
Coming
SoCal Val, then yes, it does look
Detroit,
good.
Michigan, weighing in at 205 pounds.
You think she'd come over here if I was waving this? And on a more serious note, we are awaiting the arrival of the current ECW World Heavyweight Champion, the Messiah, who defeated B-Boy in a very hard-fought match for that belt at the last PCW show held here at Frankenstein.
Maybe he's not going to come out if it's a ladder match. He wants a ladder match.
He does want a ladder match. That's how he likes it. But he's the guy who can He can do it all. He can go technical.
Hey, there's Superman. I thought it was a pot of spaghetti over here.
They're all coming out to watch this very important match in PCW history. And right now, the Messiah being come to the ring by B-Boy. Part of that high five click in combat.
What the what?
What the hey? Apparently B-Boy having to go over to the PA and fix the music for the Messiah. But in any case, music or not, this man is a very, very dangerous individual, as you had mentioned before.
I can tell you right now, nothing worse than coming out to the Raw music.
That's true.
But it is better than that Frankie Kazarian music, though.
Yeah.
That's almost as bad as the Big Show's music.
That is true. I think we are waiting for the belt to be strapped up onto that up on that rope we got there.
Hey, doesn't that look like a noose up there? Why don't you put your neck? Why don't you put your head through that, Larry, and jump off?
No, I'll go second. Why don't you go first? I'll let you volunteer first.
Can't kill somebody that's already dead.
As of this point, you do realize that you are no longer the PCW champion, right? You have to defend nothing now. Whoever gets to the top of the ladder and retrieves this belt first is the new PCW champion. Not for this, tonight.
Now let me ask you a question, since you know everything. Why is B-Boy out there if he beat him for a match? What's the deal with that?
Because they're part of that Philadelphia connection. They're part of the High Five Club in Combat Zone Wrestling. These guys are friends. That's why they're out here and sharing their support for each other. That and that Bennett guy, that's how they drive it by Brawling Bo Cooper.
Oh, that clarifies things.
Now, we were just
speaking about clearing something up. How's that Rask doing?
Rask, what are you talking about? Be asking Extreme Loco then.
I thought we were going to mention that. Come on now.
Yeah, I'm not an instigator. I just finished it. I just finished it.
You know, change his name from Extreme Loco to Extreme Lip Punch.
And you hear the crowd. They want him to push the ladder as the belt is being strapped up there.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing that. Hey, speaking of pretty women, how's that Viagra doing? What? You doing all right with that?
Wait a minute. I could have sworn I thought Frankie was trying to tie that guy's shoe together.
No, he was untied. He was helping him out.
And well, Frankie insists that he's not going to use the ladder in this matchup. I don't know, that's going to be hard, especially if you need it to win the match.
Not really. I had a couple of those matches. You know what you do? Get a knife and cut the rope and get the belt like that.
That could work too. You have a match that you can walk Frankie?
Brother, I never walked around these guys.
Old habits are hard to break.
And right now we are waiting for them to start. There we go, they meet Collar time.
They're about the same weight and height, aren't they?
Yes, they are. They're very evenly out as far as size, strength, ability, and also the wrestling ability as well. There's a nice hammer lock. The future on the side. Side trying to break off. He does. Very nice hammer lock in the zone. Side trying to slip in that toe. The Frankie coming out. Goes to the front chance. Look at this. The side trying to get a arm bar out of that. Frankie countered it, holds with it. Pulls him up into almost a cover. Look at this. Holds on to that front chancery again. With a triangle carry, nicely done. Holds on to that arm. There you see Frankie. He's cupping the arm, trying to make sure that he doesn't get an arm block. Now look at this. He's got a head scissors. I think he's holding on to the arm as well.
There's nothing like getting a head scissors by a 180-pound woman.
That's a 200-pound guy.
No, that's not good.
Now now look at Messiah breaking up, puts a headlock on him, Frankie Kazarian. Now Frankie Kazarian comes working out, look at that, arm drags out, and he needed a stand-up.
Okay, about Hoist Gracie giving me a head scissors.
Okay, Hoist Gracie gave you a head scissors.
Yeah.
What happened there?
A tap.
Oh. Well, now we're doing it. At least you're honest.
If nothing, I'm not. I'm everything but honest. Oh no, switch that around.
And now Messiah with a headlock on. Look at his headlock in his own.
That's, you know what that's called? If you're in the ring, you wouldn't know that stuff.
What's it called?
Mirror wrestling.
Mirror wrestling.
You put the hold on, the guy gives you a put the same one on him.
That was a nice hip toss by the Messiah and a nice body slam as well. And there's a nice drop kick. And Frankie rolls to the floor.
I hate drop kicks. Okay?
No, I don't think he did. But I like SoCal Valley. Don't you?
Yeah, she needs to gain about 30 more pounds, but yeah, she's pretty.
Yeah, I will give you that.
She's pretty. You know why I hate drop kicks?
Why do you hate drop kicks?
I don't like getting off the ground that much. It hurts.
And look at this. Messiah brings in Frankie Kazarian the hard way. Now he's going to Irish whip him to the ropes. Throws him over the leg there. Nicely done. And now Messiah trying to lay in onto the future. And he misses the clothesline, but the future got the clothesline of his own. And he tripped him with the legs at the same time. That was nice.
You know, give Bart and AWS a lot of credit because these are two really up-and-coming individuals in the ring right now for this area. These guys are mainstream right here.
Yes, they are. That's why they are in the main event. Look at that. Look at the face.
What, are you trying to be funny or something? Why they're in the main event?
That's why they are in the main event.
Man, some of these shows I've seen, they got people in the main event shouldn't even be in our first match. What are you talking about?
Are you saying this should have been the first match?
No, I'm saying they got people that should even be in main event. They should even be in the first match. You know what I'm saying? Quit trying to put words in my mouth.
There's a scoop slam by the future Frankie Kazarian. He springs over into a springboard leg drop. Nicely done. So far, things do look good for the future, though. But he needs to, oh, that's right. I was going to say he needs to go for the cover, but no, it's a ladder match.
Pay attention.
Well, right now, Messiah is laying, this just blows one. And out of the future, springboard into a leg drop. Now, the future wants a cover, but there's no time for this one. Only way you got to win is to get that ladder and climb it up and grab the belt.
Yeah, but he said he didn't want to do that.
But he did. And I know you guys will come over here with all your nuts.
I wouldn't give it to him anyway. Can't trust white people. You probably stabbed me with it. I gave it to him.
No, I wouldn't say that. I'd watch what you say.
What, are you going to call the 7th Cavalry or something?
No, I'm not, but look at this. Exclamation applied here by the future. Oh, Messiah, look at this. Messiah trying to get back out of it. Frankie just wearing him down. Oh, look at this. Trading punches now. Messiah trying to fight out of this hole. It's just not working right now.
Not really good position to be trading punches in. Too close.
Look at this. He applies a front fist. Look at that. Holding onto the leg and a front fist. Look at this. He's got him tied in a knot. I think we're going to need a Boy Scout to untie him.
Yeah, that looks like something that you did to your stuffed animal that one time.
What do you keep talking about stuffed animals for?
You collect them.
You have a stuffed animal fetish or something?
Yeah, there's a word for that. I forgot it, but I'm lucky I forgot that word.
I was seeing Frankie applying a lot of leg holds, and right now he's actually very smart of Frankie because if he takes out the legs, how is anyone going to climb up a ladder to win this match?
Well, Einstein, if you have strong arms, like that one guy, Big Slimmy, whatever, what was his name?
Baby Slim.
Baby Slim, you can walk up the ladder with your arms.
Look at this. The effects of the leg hold. Look at that. Head twist onto his knee. That bad knee that's been worked over this whole match. Decide trying to go for a kick. There's a leg sweep. And now look at this. Frankie going for a figure four. And there it is. The figure four.
Very painful hold. because if you're lying on your back and the guy don't have it on good, you could take a short nap. And then act like it's hurt, you know, because some people don't know really how to put that on.
Look at that. Did you see that? Some guy grabbed Messiah's arm and pretended to make him tap. They're trying to...
Are you sure?
Yes, I saw it. They're trying to fight that over.
Do you need glasses?
I'm wearing glasses.
Along with electrolysis?
Maybe I do. Look, what?
Oh, look, he is getting a ladder. See? Well, he...
Got to. Now he goes for the ladder.
Ooh, there's a lot of testing around here.
Never thought I'd see the day that the future Frankie Kazarian would have to resort to getting a ladder. Wait a minute. What's he doing?
He's going to jump and get it, man. He's got hops. He's got hops. He's got hops. He can do it.
He can't reach. Messiah with a spear caught him coming down. But look at this, the Messiah, he hurt his knee on that. That was a nice effort by Frankie, but Messiah, look at this exploder. How is Messiah doing this?
He might have ripped that knee a little bit.
Look at this, Messiah drops the elbow.
He might have ripped out that knee a little
He
bit.
might have had to. That could have cost him. That's definitely going to affect him during this match, especially having to climb up the ladder. Now Messiah goes for the ladder. Now look at that. Baseball slide into the ladder. That definitely knocked the wind out of the Messiah, that's for sure. And now Frankie picking up the ladder. I think he's just going to go in for the ring. Go for the ring right now. Yeah. Oh, they're getting close over to here.
Let him get. Let him get. Save me if they get over here, because I just ate.
Okay, yeah, I'll make sure to throw my body out.
In fact, you ate a slice of my pizza, punk.
What are you talking about?
Stole it.
That four slices, I came back, there was one missing.
Super bad over asking for a quarter.
Look at this. Oh, man! Frankie gets thrown into the ladder. The Messiah now. What are you doing? Setting him up. Oh, look at this. A moonsault off the ladder. A moonsault off the ladder.
Beautiful move.
Look at that his knee. Look at that. Messiah's favoring his knee again.
Beautiful move.
That was, but that could cost him.
You do that with one good knee. You can do that with two good ones.
But he didn't have two good knees. He's got one.
Everything that you know how to do your knee.
Using the ladder almost like a battering ram into his ribs.
Yeah, that's a sternum shot. You could shatter a sternum like that.
Looks like Messiah is... Oh, no, I thought he was going to settle the ladder.
No.
Give him the ribs. Give him the ribs. Like a battering ram. Now it's a sitting up. Oh my God! He got him right in the face. Got him right in the face. I don't think Frankie Kazarian will be doing double takes for this one of that letters anymore.
Is this too flush?
He probably is. He probably did. You know, that's going to hurt his moving career. Picking off Messiah off that ladder right now. Trying to get the ladder. Trying to drive that ladder into the knee of Messiah.
Well, you got to go after damaged parts.
And you do. That is very true. And he's doing a good job of it.
Ability by both of these guys. I'm really impressed.
Well, these are two young. Oh my God! Suplex the ladder. Woo! Suplex the ladder into the Messiah. You know he's got to be hurt. Now what's Frankie doing? Frankie setting up the ladder into the corner. We're trying. There he's got it in the corner. Look at that. Again, working over that knee.
Another knee shot.
Look at this. Baseball slide. Frankie able to get out of it. Oh! Messiah literally walked into that one.
That was a double shot. Hit him with the side and the other side at the same time almost.
Both men are probably hurting, but Frankie now.
Is your mom going to get mad because you borrowed the ladder from the house?
No, because we don't have a ladder. And anyways, the ladder set up in the corner. Oh, look at that! Frankie the drop kick, beating the face out, beating the side, the square in the face.
Now that whole left side's dead.
Here. Isn't that where you do all of the thinking on the left side?
I don't. Uh-oh. Oh, my goodness.
What's Frankie going up for here?
Very dangerous.
He's up on that top rope. Oh, my God! He sprung up the ladder with a leg drop.
Can't deny it.
I am the coolest person in the world!
I don't know about that. Right now, the
He's the coolest person in the world, and you're the coolest person in the world.
Frankie trying to go over the Messiah. No, Frankie, they have it.
He has having the belt.
Messiah trying to go for a powerbomb. Oh, look at that. Frankie putting that to the floor. Hey, that feels good. Yeah, I've seen it. I wish I had a better camera. And now Messiah.
What else is going to happen here? They're going to bring a change?
Anything can happen in the world of wrestling. Oh, look at this.
Yeah, you're a commentator.
Northern Lights driver by the Messiah. Now Messiah setting up that ladder. Notice that no one is going to know that Messiah driving all his weight on that ladder. Again, Messiah.
Another excellent maneuver.
Yes, it was. And now maybe Messiah will be trying to reach for that belt. Are you going to set up the ladder again?
You know, it looks like a move.
And look at this, Frankie. Trying to get back to his feet using that ladder. Same time Messiah.
They're both getting up on it.
It looks like they're going to meet. They should have on that ladder. Go away, is he going for the evolution?
Oh, no.
He's going for the evolution. Messiah countered it. Messiah saw that coming. What's Messiah going to do here? There's a splash off the ladder.
He's damaging his knee every time he does a move on the other guy.
That is very true. All these moves are spectacular, but they're taking a toll on him.
So I guess it's like you, you know, win at any price. Even if it's not legal. Now your way.
Anything is legal in this match. Now Messiah trying to set up that ladder.
Now he's going for the ball.
He has a chance right now. For Frankie. Goes up.
See how slow he is for that knee?
You look at Frankie. Frankie looks like a cat.
Look, he just fall backwards into the crowd right now.
He may fall right into your lap. Oh, wait a minute. That could be the future's chance right now to go climb up that ladder and get that belt.
Look, his legs are like Kento around a Christmas tree.
We don't want
can do it. I've never seen touched by an angel.
What's she gonna do? Wait a minute.
Oh, poor little girl.
Welcome to the
Keep it on that girl.
Welcome to the Frankenstein Arena, SoCal. Oh, wait a minute.
Anytime someone gets in the ring, that's what happens.
He got it.
Excellent match.
That is it, ladies and gentlemen.
Excellent shot.
Yes, it was. Your winner is still ECW World Heavyweight Champion, the Messiah. And now coming is the Philadelphia Connection. Here's the people who are celebrating with their hero and their leader, the Messiah.
Now that's music right there. Disturb. That's an entrance song. You got the right one finally.
I think they got the right one.
Champion song.
And there's a champion right there. The Messiah. Your PCW World Heavyweight Champion. Very hot fought match. He fought all odds in this matchup. And he still came out on top as the world champion. Look at that. Climbing the ladder to success.
Take everything away. Oh, I just got caught up in the moment.
Calm down now. I know you're excited about the win, but come on. We're professionals here.
Brother, it's been a pleasure for you to have me on here. I gotta get going because it's dinner time.
Thank you very much, Night Shadow, for putting in your play-by-play and color commentary. And this is gonna...
Hey, what's that color stuff mean? That's the slap because I'm an Indian?
What are you talking about?
Racist?
No. We're providing color commentary. And that's gonna do it here at the Frankenstein Arena, here at Super Indie Clash #1.